mwaka ikianza, how are you going about it? That is a question you need to ask yourself and answer only to yourself, because at the end of the day, the things that you set as your goals, you have to work towards them, and you have to ensure that it is in line with whatever you wanted to achieve. But at the moment, welcome once again to the program. My name is Mike Migui. A lot is in store for you today, exactly being a Monday and the start of a new month. So you want to tune in to this program. No, I'm not alone. Vivian is in the building. Good morning, Vivian.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you doing?
I hope you had a lovely weekend. I'm doing well.
Mine was fantastic.
Amazing, amazing. Yes. And a very good morning to each and every one of you who is tuned in on this show. It is the first day of September, just as Mike has mentioned. And I hope that your September turns out to be a great month. Now, today being a Monday, we also will be looking at Family Check. That is, aside from politics, we're going to be looking at Family Check. And today our topic of conversation is self-evaluation. And to be specific, we will be looking into self-esteem and what are the effects of one's self-esteem in a relationship. You definitely want to stay tuned for that conversation that will be coming to you at around 9 a.m. And I will be joined by Evangelist Rachel, who is a counselor and therapist, as well as Joy Kiri, who is a counseling psychologist. They'll be here so that we are able to look at matters self-esteem and how that affects one's relationship. Even before we get into what is on our papers this morning, we got to finally come to an end of CHAN.
Yes.
The CHAN games are done. Yeah. And Morocco emerged the winner. They took the cup. It was a beautiful sight.
It was a beautiful game. And Madagascar did prove that they were no pushover.
Yes.
They were no pushover, because the way they played, they made Morocco work hard for that victory. And Kenyans, I think Kenyans had taken sides. And they were supporting most of the fans in the stadium, and outside were supporting Morocco. Maybe because Madagascar bundled us out of the competition.
Yes, and then you know, with the banters that have been going online also, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. So yeah, Morocco was, Team Kenya was behind Morocco, and they took the cup, and that was the end of the CHAN games. And I'm sure that we got to pick a thing or two from the games, you know, just as with us as Kenyans, we got to pick some things from that. And one thing for sure is that we should rally behind our sports people right here in the country, because when you give them that motivation, when they receive that support, they definitely do well. So, yeah.
That was it's maybe from my perspective, it was an eye-opening period for the period that CHAN ran. It was an eye-opening period for the country in terms of hosting continental tournaments of any sports. We've seen our facilities improve by far. Absolutely. And others are coming up, meaning in future we stand a chance of hosting another continental tournament and actually seeing our sportsmen and women doing what they do best, putting our flag, raising our flag higher than anyone would imagine. Yesterday also, Eliud Kipchoge was participating in a marathon in Sydney, and he finished 9th. But one thing you have to give it to him is his resilience. He's very resilient in terms of his sport and what he stands for. Absolutely. So also, that is one of the ways that Kenya is being put on the map in terms of sports. Indeed. Absolutely. And as that is happening, in the political world, a lot has been happening. We saw over the weekend that Eric Mutai survived an impeachment. That was, he put up a spirited fight in Senate, and he survived the impeachment. And also, over 70 signatures have been collected out of 123 members of County Assembly in Nairobi to initiate a motion of impeachment against Nairobi Governor, that is Johnson Sakaja. Also yesterday, the President said that the e-procurement system is unstoppable, and anyone who is against it should just go find another job, because this is something that his government is committed to achieving, and he was speaking yesterday. And also, Council of Governors now convening today an emergency meeting on the issue of hiring over 7,000 medics, and also matters to do with e-procurement system, which they say has stalled county budget. That is some of the things that we shall be talking about at in our People and Politics segment. I'll be joined by Thomas Omao, who is a governance and political expert, and also Frank Nyamari, who is an advocate of the High Court, and Peter Mutuku Mutua, who is a governance and leadership expert. That is a conversation that will be coming to you immediately. I think before then, let me give you a quote for today. And given that it's the start of the month, I think this aligns well with new beginnings. Now, the quote says, "Don't watch the clock, do what it does. Keep going." That is a quote by Sam Levinson. Don't watch the clock, do what it does. Keep going. That is a quote by Sam Levinson. That is a quote that is in line with what, or the start of a new month, because time does not stop. It does not wait for anyone. So whatever you have set out to achieve, go for it. Time does not, will not give you a chance like itakungojea. There's no chance it will, Vivian.
You keep moving,
yes,
for sure. That's a really, really good quote, especially for the start of the month. Keep
yes.
going just as the clock does.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I think let me take them through the front pages of our local dailies, and I will start with the Daily Nation. This is what is being reported on the front page of the Daily Nation. Ghosts Paradise. Audit report routinely expose shady schemes to loot public funds. The admission by authorities that rogue hospitals tried to steal 10 billion from the Social Health Authority has revived past scandals involving fraudulent payments for ghost government workers, schools and health facilities. Billions of taxpayers' money looted in fraudulent salaries for non-existent government employees. Auditor General's special audit found that non-existent schools pocketed 3.7 billion in capitation funds over 4 years. Authorities also have flagged inflated enrollment figures, with reports indicating schools steal more than 700 million annually. And also audits uncovering looting of billions through fraudulent claims under the state medical scheme, including the defunct NHIF. That story is told on page 2 and 3 of the Daily Nation. Crisis over county tenders, new jobs. Governors have convened an emergency meeting today to address the stalemate over hiring over 7,414 medics and the Treasury's electronic procurement system, which has stalled county budgets. That story is told on page 4 of the Daily Nation. How AI is changing lives in new order. Artificial intelligence is rapidly reshaping every aspect of life, with its disruptive impact already evident. Here's how AI is transforming society. That story is told on page 12. Another story that is making the front page of the Daily Nation is that hiring of 10,000 police officers in jeopardy. Deep divisions in the National Police Service Commission threatened process as staff wars between commanders and commissioners escalate into a crisis. That story is told on page 8 of the Daily Nation. Any government official who is not willing to use it can resign. That is President Ruto vocalizing himself on matters to do with the e-payment, e-system that is being fronted by the government. Let's look at what is making headlines on the news, the Standard newspaper. Unmoved by outcry, they have survived scandals that would have ruined lesser men, from looting of billions under their watch to questionable imports, a high death toll from road accidents and serious human rights abuses. But Aden Duale, Davis Chirchir and Kipchumba Murkomen remain untouchable, shielded not by performance but by their unbreakable bond with President William Ruto. In Ruto's inner circle, survival is not about service, it is about loyalty, and scandal is merely the cost of doing business. That story is told on page 4 and 5 of the Standard newspaper. Broad-based at 1. Chronisms or unlocking the country's potential. 1 year since the opposition leader Raila Odinga joined government, opinion is still divided. Was it an easy way to power, or has the union stabilized the country and made the lives of Kenyans better? That is a very pertinent question. That story, you read it on page 6. That is what is captured on the front page of the Standard newspaper. Let's look at what is making headlines on the front page of the Star newspaper. This is what is captured. Is Citizen platform shillings 11 billion missing amid ownership mystery? Contractual documents show private firms can uninstall system at will. That story is told on page 4 and 5. Ruto insists SHA fraudsters must be prosecuted. Another story that is making the headline on the front page of the Star newspaper is a tourism guru calls for open borders to attract visitors. A distinguished tourism executive with over 25 years in leadership, transforming Uganda's tourism landscape and advancing conservation initiative in Africa, Lily Ajarova fell in love with nature when she was 5 years old and inspired by her father, who was at the time a surgeon and naturalist. Read that story on page 6 of the Star newspaper. And also, another story that is making headline is Biobank inside Kemri's new DNA library for Kenyan tribes. Researchers at Kemri have created the most comprehensive genetic data of Kenyan tribes available today, known as a forensic biobank. They hope the data will help solve crimes, settle family mysteries, and also tell us more about where Kenyans came from. That story is told on page 2 of the Star newspaper. That is what is making headlines on our local dailies. You can grab your favorite local daily and read the stories that have been highlighted there. I want us to take a very short break. Once we come back, we talk about the state of the nation. Stay with us.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, we'll spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds, game-changing startups, and breakthrough technology that are shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. We continue with people and politics. A lot has happened during the weekend, and also especially matters to do, what has been prominent is matters to do with the Social Health Authority, where the Ministry of Health says they flagged up they intercepted over 10.6 billion worth of claims by fraudulent health facilities, but stopped the payment. And so far, over 800 health facilities have been closed down, and also the public outcry is still growing when it comes to matters surrounding health facilities. So where do we go from this? So this is one of the things that we shall be looking at. And already in studio, I'm joined by Wakili Frank Nyamari, who is an advocate of the High Court. Wakili, karibu sana.
Thank you.
How are you doing this morning?
I've been well.
Yes.
You guys have blessed us with a lot of good matches in Chan.
Yes. So speaking of Chan.
We've been following things live,
yes,
from this place,
yeah,
and it has been a blessing. Now take us to AFCON.
And
ensure that we don't we don't get bad from accessing Kasarani Stadium.
Yes,
because those are our taxes.
Yeah. And also, KBC is your true sports partner, and for sure we did do a good job. Now, when it came to Chan, after we left,
yes,
ulikuwa na shabikia timu gani?
Morocco.
Yeah. But it was a good game on Saturday.
It was a good game on Sabbath.
A good game. What do you think are the lessons that we should, as a country, we should learn from hosting such a continental tournament?
Yeah, I think the last time I spoke about sport in this country,
yes,
while I was in these studios, I highlighted that we cannot, we had not as a country managed to have an international coach doing a period of 5 years. And we've brought in Benny McCarthy, who is an international and experienced coach and player,
yeah,
to transform our football in this country.
Yes.
And you can see that he has put in tremendous work in terms of identifying talent, pushing for government involvement in sports and all that. And the key lesson I will want the country to learn, or rather the government to learn, or we as a people to learn, is the talent that is out there, that is untamed, and that talent has to be brought into the table so that we can have and enjoy football in this country.
Yes.
For the first time, you saw that the stadiums were full.
Yes.
Even the televisions, the screens mounted along the streets of Nairobi were full, and people would even come out with chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Kenyans do love football.
We love football.
Yes.
We love football.
And
in fact, football makes us forget all the evils the government is doing.
It's a way to detach from the local, the everyday hustle and bustle of life.
Yeah.
Now, let's get into our today's conversation. And one of the things that has been very prominent, as I had put earlier, is matters to do with SHA. Having a ministry said that they flagged up over 10 billion worth of fraudulent claims by health facilities. First of all, what do you think about this whole aspect of SHA having monetary problems, and also having Kenyans say that it's still not working?
You know, from the Constitution, we understand that Article 43 of the Constitution allows the government, or rather bestows upon the government, the responsibility of ensuring that every citizen has access to affordable health care. And that comes up with some key responsibilities in ensuring that there are facilities, there are finances to facilitate accessibility of health care. And not just health care, affordable health care.
Yes.
Now, we are perturbed or shocked by the revelations made by the Ministry of Health in this country in view of the discoveries that they have made. And we remember that during the campaigning seasons and during the transition period, when we were transiting from NHIF to SHA, key reason that was given by the president himself is corruption within NHIF. So we thought that SHA would come in as a clean house. So ideally, nothing has changed. And you see, the people making these discoveries are not clean. They are not coming out clean and tell Kenyans that we have discovered that Hospital A, Hospital B, Hospital C are the ones getting involved in perpetrating this quagmire called corruption, or rather fraudulently acquiring funds from the government. So who are these people? When are they going to be charged? When is this money that they have swindled going to be recovered? Those are the key questions that people out here are asking. We cannot be brainwashed by mere political talk. We need to see action, and we need to see people being brought to book.
So where should that action start? Because every day we are hearing these stories of monies being lost. So in terms of accountability, there's that question of accountability. Who is supposed to take this responsibility when it comes to matters, especially dealing with health?
I once said that corruption cannot end up until we look ourselves in the eye and be able to tell ourselves that we are not clean. We need to go and take a clean bath and be clean. It is a useless talk when the Cabinet Secretary for Finance comes and says that there are some hospitals which have been identified as getting involved in embezzlement of funds from the government. We need to know which are these hospitals. When you come on national television, when you go to national events and you make such utterances, you need to be accountable for them. You need to come out and name those persons. The agencies which are involved, which is the DCI, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, those are the agencies which are supposed to take action in ensuring that those individuals. But as we speak, we have not been told which individuals. We have not been told which accounts were money was going to be directed to. And those accounts are not just pseudo accounts. They are accounts which are owned by people. There is a trail. That is where the government is failing. We need to be told, where is this money, which account, to whom it belongs, where are these people, when is it going to be recovered, and how are they going to be charged.
So we should move from mere talk.
Yes.
Also joining us for this conversation is Mr. Peter Mutuku Mutua, who is a governance and leadership expert. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya once again.
Thank you very much.
Yes, how was your weekend?
It was good.
Chan ilikuwa KBC.
No.
On Saturday we had a very good game. Which team was, the finalist to the to the Chan tournament. After we were bundled out, which team were you supporting?
Well, because I started, when the tournament started,
Yes.
I was very much Kenya,
Yes.
patriotic. So when we lost at quarterfinals, I first of all got confused,
Yes.
shocked. So by the time I was regaining my consciousness,
Yes.
it was hard to decide which one to support. I was just waiting for the winner. And when I saw the person that was about, the team that was about to win,
Yes.
I joined them. And then I became a Moroccan.
I will throw you the same question I threw Akili. Yes, we have hosted Chan as a country, but from your perspective, what lessons can we derive from all this?
Well, so many lessons. Starting number one, we have learned now how to manage our funds. That's point number one. Number two, we learned on how to control our traffic flows.
Yes.
Number three, we also learned on how to make sure that security of the visitors, the players, and the fans is well guaranteed. We also learned the most important thing, because it was about players playing for this nation and restoring their glory. We learned teamwork. And we have also learned the power of motivation. It seems, had they not been motivated that they would not even have reached quarterfinals. Because you look at the level or the quality of game, you know, from our side vis-a-vis the other teams that we are playing, and especially, remember now Morocco won, and we had defeated them. The field from where they lost to us is the same field that they lifted the trophy. So we learned the power of motivation. The power of motivation. There are so many lessons that we learned, and I hope that we are going to apply them. Learning and applying makes sense, but just learn and just we push them somewhere, we will not achieve anything. Yes.
Let's get into today's conversation with you, and with Wakil here. You know, the other day, the CS had said that the Ministry of Health had intercepted over 10.6 billion worth of fraudulent claims by health facilities, but they stopped the payments. And so far, we've had over 800 health facilities closed. But then again, the question of SHA has been very pertinent to Kenyans, and now you have issues of funds being lost, others being intercepted, and also the aspect where some Kenyans feel that this system is not working. Where are we going wrong?
You see, I don't know what you had discussed with the Wakili. I'm sorry that I arrived 2 minutes late. I thought there was another maybe 10 minutes for news or something. However, because I'm a Kenyan, I live here, and when all these things start, I'm always here. And this is what I will say. When you see results, you need to start going back and know why are we getting the results we are getting. So when we hear that we have ghost facilities receiving billions of money in this country, and then at some time, or at some point, you hear the CS comes out and speaks. His speaking, for me, makes no sense. Because we are not about having just a speaking cabinet. We want a working cabinet, a cabinet that has capacity to make sure that we do not lose money. But when somebody comes out and speaks when you have already lost money, and stops others from, tries to manage our expectations and our, our emotions by trying to show us that have saved this nation this amount of money while we have already lost money. The fact that we lost money, then it tells you right from the beginning the reason, either the reason this SHA was started was to lose money and not to do things better than NHIF. Because why should we lose money? When we discuss something from the point of the product. The product is we have lost. So we go back looking at the process. Where did we go wrong? Then it tells you there was no need to shift to SHA. There was need to change that which was wrong. And then in the aspects of NHIF that were wrong, that we changed them. Other than now bringing another one, where we are supposed to be paying 104 billion per year. And you remember, Kenya is known for people who are very sharp, because we are and we remain the pioneers of electronic money transfer in the way of M-Pesa. So if we do that a system that found the entire world unprepared, and up to now, nobody has been able to come up with a system like M-Pesa. If we could do that, then why is it not that our people, local talents and skills were commissioned to come up with a better system, and then you transfer from NHIF to SHA? But where you find we have lost money, that is the losing is the product. So we go back to the backward, looking at the process. Then the process somewhere, when they start, because you see, you need to explore something. Before you do something, you must, like for example, before joining KBC, you had envisioned, then you decided to come here, then you explore. So in other words, what I'm trying to say, before SHA was established, there must have a stage of envision. And at that point, you outline everything that you want to do. But when you find something wrong is happening, something negative, we are losing money. Somebody somewhere or a group of people, cartels or, you know, a syndicate somewhere decides that because there exists something called Peter Mutuku, we are going to have a Peter Mutuku B, we are going to have a Peter Mutuku North, we are going to have a Peter Mutuku East and South, thereby confusing the citizens, and you start channeling funds to non-existence facility. Then when that one has happened, you come out in broad daylight and appear that nothing has happened. Let me tell you, Migwe, and anybody who is listening to me, when there is a problem and there is a challenge that needs to be handled, it doesn't matter whether you are going to take sleeping pills to sleep, or whether you are going to sleep naturally, whether you are going to close your eyes, the problem won't get solved by sleeping.
Yes.
Action has to be taken.
Yes. You know, there's something that that raises a lot of questions. But then again, why do you think, Wakili, this skepticism about surrounding the social health authority, will it ever end? Because Kenyans are seeing on one end the possibility of money, of losing money, and on the other end, possibility of not accessing quality health care.
You know, if you take Manchester United players and you give them jerseys for Manchester City, they will still play as Manchester United players.
Yes.
What the government has done is that they have brought in the same monkeys in SHA. The only thing which has changed is the name from NHIF to SHA. But the very, very problems that we had, even during the tenure of NHIF all those years, is still the same problems that is being experienced. And by the way, let me ask a question. How old is SHA?
1 year now.
Probably 2 years. And how long did it take for NHIF to be in place? A very long period of time. What has changed, apart from the name NHIF to SHA? We have people in government who are embezzling funds, and our bosses, our chiefs, they know them, but they are not taking action. They are only coming out to speak politics. No action is taken. So what I'm saying is this, that for there to be a change, we need people who have integrity, people who are honest, people who are willing to work according to the oath of office and serve the people of Kenya in that capacity as the social health authority workers. Serve in that capacity. Serve honestly. Otherwise, if that is not done, if those corrupt individuals, those who keep on embezzling funds are not rooted out, we will continue having the same problem year in, year out, year in, year out. Number two, what was wrong with NHIF? Because I think that is where the government ought to have looked at and improve. If Frank Nyamari is the problem, pick Frank Nyamari, throw him to jail, bring Migwi, who is honest, who has integrity, and let Migwi serve. If that is not done, we will continue having corruption. It will never end. In fact, it will grow even horns and haunt this country to its toes.
You know, the CS in the Ministry of Health, that is CS Aden Duale, has said that he has come to weed out corruption within that ministry. But even looking at how this issue of SHA has been handled, Mr. Peter Mutuku, do you think it has been politicized?
Politicized by who? You know, it is one thing to say and one thing to act. I think as a nation where we are now 62 years down the line after independence, I think we should move from speaking and working. So when he speaks and the results are different then, if then he does not see that one as a problem, if he sees that one is okay and is okay for him to continue serving as CS for health, the least I could assume is that is part of it. Because if he feels that the things as they are okay, and as a Kenyan as he is okay to continue serving as CS for health, and his conscience doesn't inform him that it's important to resign and have other people work and deliver services to the citizens of this nation, then there's a big problem. Let me remember, when systems work, they work for all of us. When they collapse for all of us. And when sometimes you are given some responsibility, and for one reason or another, you are not able to deliver, the most honorable thing is to either ask the appointing authority to appoint you to another docket that you can find space to exercise your competencies, other than remaining in a space that you are not going to use as results. Because basically speaking, these are like running in the wrong lane. I would say the CS is running on the wrong lane. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what he's going to do. Even if he goes to the finishing line, he's going to be disqualified because he was running on the wrong lane. So for that reason, the issue of when things go wrong, we just look at politics and we fail to look at morality. A nation as good and as old as Kenya, we need to have moved from the thoughts of success to a point of thinking of significance. If we have appointed Megwi today as a CS for this, what significance are we going to enjoy as citizens? We won't keep on talking about your success in your local politics, your success of being a member of parliament, undefeated for this length of time, being a friend of so-and-so, being untouchable. That does not help us. What helps us is your significance. And in matters of significance, where you are a CS, especially for health, you know, health is not lands. Health is not roads. You know, if we found roads coming here, they were closed for some reason or another, myself and Wakili Nyamari would have found ways to come here. We would have used a bicycle. We would have walked to here. But there are things that have no alternative, and those things need to be given the seriousness they deserve. Health is fundamental right of all citizens. And where you find we are losing money, and remember, the money that is lost, it is from every person in this country. The hustlers, so to speak, the Wanjikos, so to speak, and the workers who deducted the money, and somebody somewhere thinks that it is okay to make millions from sick and dying people. We need to go back to the drawing board. It is extremely appalling.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, Wakili, there's all been allegations of politically connected individuals being involved in all this. But then again, there's the aspect of the public and their confidence in government's ability to protect taxpayers' money. How does that affect the public confidence in all this?
You know, the confidence of the public is gained when things are done right. You gain confidence in your boss when your salary is paid, first, in good time. Secondly, it is sufficient and takes care of your needs. The government gains confidence from its subjects when it delivers service to the people. When it deals with the core issues that affect people and hinder them from probably accessing that which they ought to access. The only way that the government of the day can gain confidence from its subjects is by delivering services. How do you deliver these services? Is first of all by ensuring, and by the way, you've said that they are individuals connected to political cycles. If I was in that position, to even know them, I would have even named them. But it's unfortunate that I'm just here. If the government can take this action of naming them, taking them to court, and ensuring that all these other agencies which are involved, such as the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the ESCC, the DCI, is working to ensure that these specific culprits are brought to book, Kenyans will have confidence in their government. If a new authority is being put in place to ensure that there is efficiency in service delivery, and that does not happen, the government of the day will lose confidence, because you change from A to B for there to be a good change, and not just a change, but a change that can impact the lives of people. If that is not achieved, then you are as useless as yesterday. Yes. So what I'm saying is this: without clarity on service delivery, without actions being taken on the culprits, without the perpetrators of these money embezzlement activities which not being brought to book, without all that, there is no confidence that this government is going to get. In fact, people are enlightened, people are empowered. Nowadays, people read. People no longer avoid watching news. They are informed. Everything is just on their phones. If you are not able to see, make them see that you're doing something that is going to be helpful to their lives, then you're doing a useless job. Then that means no one will have confidence in you. And even as you near the elections, people are tired of this political talk. We need actions. And that is the reason as to even the young people went to the streets last year to demand for action. If that is not done, the government of the day is done. Yes.
When it comes to these matters, also, the CS has said that some MPs are involved. This is according to him. Some MPs own some of these health facilities that have been flagged. Then, on the other hand, some MPs also feel like Duale should take responsibility. And here is my question to you, Peter Mutuku. Given that there is this back and forth between a section of MPs and the health CS, does this complicate the pursuit of justice, especially when it comes to matters health?
Well, it started wrong when the CS allowed these things to continue flourishing. These things, I mean, health facilities that are run by member of parliaments, that is conflict of interest. And when you use your power to decide what goes where, we are, most of the times you are going to be disadvantaged. But the buck stops with the CS. If he read very well after he was sworn in, he needed to have read terms of reference, because this one helps him to know where he's supposed to exercise his mandate, from where to where. So whether there are a number of MPs that own these facilities or not, and again, as Wakili said, just say a number that is an amorphous statement, that is a statement without shape and design. A number means nothing to us, because that is the escapist statement. I wish he said so and so, so and so. I don't know why it is becoming difficult in this country. And remember, we are addressing this nation from a national telecast, KBC Channel 1. And I hope everybody is listening, just to know that this channel is fair in its matters, in the way it handles issues. And because of that reason, the spirit that is hovering around here, we need to speak the truth so that we save this nation, because we cannot keep on weeping when we are supposed to speak. When the CS comes out boldly and saying some of members of National Assembly own some or run some of these facilities, what is the meaning of some of? Some of is not a number. Some of is not a title to anybody. In fact, when somebody talks like that, is somebody who is not ready to mention the perpetrators, the aiders, or anybody who is a beneficiary of this criminal enterprise.
Would naming really stop anyone?
You see, if I named you, what happens? You know what happens? Let me tell you, Migu. He will tell us. We'll explain because he's a lawyer. Though while I'm with him here, he must be very careful because I'm stealing his knowledge. I may use it, and I will not give him the privilege to steal mine.
Yes.
You know, there is power in naming. When you name, you have put somebody in the court of public opinion. So the public will be demanding, yes, you have mentioned so and so. We want the next action, step down. Then the next action, get arrested. Next action, close the facility. The next, pay us. So if you wanted people to return the money that they have looted, who are these people called some of the members of parliament? What is hard, if he's a CS, we know he's a CS. He has been summoned. Like, for example, I've read in the newspapers that some of the MPs are saying they are going to summon him. If they have the courage to say that we are going to summon you, why can't he have the courage and say, Advocate James Nyamari, Peter Mtuku, James, and then what's wrong with that? If you have done wrong, you have done wrong. You see, the moment, and I will challenge Wakilia so that he can talk to his people, professional colleagues. The challenge is that the constitution that we so want to defend, few of us understand the constitution. If the constitution was at our disposal at any level, village level, towns and everywhere, we knew our rights as they are written, because it's good to know your rights as they are recorded. And knowing that will help us to grow and know we do not have two classes of citizens. Citizen B for senior citizens and citizen B for people who can be treated anyhowly and who can be used anyhowly. If you knew primarily, before you become a CS, before you become a PS, you are a Kenyan, and the law equates all of us, then we will be in a position. By now, the CS himself would have come out in public and named those people who are called some of the members of National Assembly.
Do you feel the same? Would that work?
And you see, it is not only the CS who is entertaining us with this talk of some of, it is even the president himself. He said even some of you members of parliament are doing what? Are issuing bribes so that bills can be passed. You see, we want them to be named, we want them to be brought to book. We want every person to be responsible for their actions. If naming is not done, we will not be able to know who are these persons. You need to even face the investigative agencies such as the ESCC and the DCI and tell them that so and so needs to be investigated. And that is where justice begins. If we are coming out as the CS in your capacity, as the president in your capacity, and you're just entertaining a very funny talk, hanging talk, a political talk, at some of you members, tell us who are these members. That is where justice begins. Once we know who is the suspect, we investigate. We align, we arraign in court. We do the hearing. And the judges make decisions. And that is the process of justice. We want people to be brought to book. We don't just want mere words. We don't want blanket statements. We want to be told that Advocate Frank Nyamari is the one who is involved. We think so. Let the investigative agencies come in and investigate me. Indeed. That is what we are saying.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's take a very short break. We'll be right back to continue with Eye on Politics right here on Good Morning Kenya.
fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tutaangazia ufugaji wa kuku jijini. Kwanza tunaanza na mayai, kifaranga na kisha kuku anapokomaa kutoka hapa Mihano.
Nalisha hizi kuku za mayai na nalisha kidogo ya nyama. Mimi ni mkulima hodari kwa sababu naendelea na ninapata manufaa ya hizi kuku.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.
You're still watching Good Morning Kenya. This is Eye on Politics. I want us to close this matter on the question of the Social Health Authority. And I'll start with you, Akili. What should be the way forward? If this has to work, what is the way forward?
The way forward is simple. Those involved in embezzlement of funds, let them be brought to book, and let the CS be serious in his work. I think integrity dictates that when there is issues, you either conform to the rules or you quit. So that's how simple it is.
Yes.
For us to be able to see delivery to services, for citizens to be able to have confidence in you, you have to deliver. If you are not delivering, quit. Yes.
Mr. Mutuku, you know, issues surrounding SHA, a lot of them, corruption, services not working in some areas. What should be the way forward? If this has to work, what should be the way forward?
Simple. Way forward would be, we expect a different product. So if you expect a different product, you have to change the process. And when you are changing the process, you change the technical guys. The technical guy, number one, is the CS.
Yes.
So if the CS is not able to understand the system, control and manage corruption in his docket, and then it is said that he is aiding some of these things, then I think the best thing is to have him first of all before we think of changing the process, because it will not be wise for us as a nation to imagine changing the process, but we retain the same players.
Yes.
We change the players, then we change the process, then we are likely to get a better product. Yep.
Indeed. Well, let's go to another matter of importance, that is about the e-procurement. Now, we saw yesterday the president saying that this procurement is unstoppable, and anyone who is opposed to it should just quit from government and find something else to do. Also, governors, the Council of Governors are convening today because this issue, they say, is affecting how they are doing service delivery in terms of allocating county, the stalled county budgets. I'll start with you, Akili. The first things first, the e-procurement system is unstoppable, and whoever is opposed to it should just quit and go find something else to do. First of all, what do you think of that?
Yeah, you know, sometimes I normally say that the president forgets that he's the father of the nation. That is how That's because of how he proposes his, he brings forth his suggestions and perhaps implements that which he thinks is fit for this nation. First of all, it is a bad talk to insist that those who are not for it must find a place or quit government and find other things to do. We must understand that it is important for the government to roll out the electronic means of procurement and all that. But we must also be alive to the challenges that other services have had in terms of the e-platforms. We have the e-citizen, which the Star says that there is a 11 billion which is somehow missing. We have other e-services that the government is offering which are full of challenges. The question is, even before we go to e-procurement, because I know the ideal reason as to why the president is so much interested in seeing it, and that is what he's telling Kenyans, is the fight against corruption. How far has the government gone in terms of fighting corruption with the already existing e-platforms? For example, the e-citizen. How far has the government gone in terms of fighting corruption? Number two, the Council of Governors is reluctant in accepting the e-procurement system, first because of the transition. The reasons they have given is that there is going to be a period of stalled projects, stalled procurement procedures because of the implementation of the e-procurement system in their respective counties. The question is, what has the government done in ensuring that there is going to be a smooth transition? How is it going to be smooth for the services? To ensure that there is no interruption in terms of whatever the county governments are doing. That has not been addressed. In as much as we appreciate that the government wants accessibility and transparency in these e-platforms, but we must also be alive to the challenges that are presented therein. And such challenges, if not addressed in good time, we will see a very, very long and tedious exercise in trying to implement what the president is saying. First of all, desist from forcing people, desist from threatening people, because they are rightfully employed and they must not do what you think is done, because integrity dictates that when something is wrong, it is just wrong. You can only help by making it right. If those people are telling you that, the Council of Governors is telling you that it will take a longer time to implement the system, then go and ask yourself, instead of forcing them and telling them to quit their jobs, ask them how best can this be implemented? How smooth can the transition be to help the government be able to deliver to its subjects? Yes.
Two things, Peter. Your thoughts on the president's remarks, and also, number two, having learned or seen how the implementation of or the rollout of SHA system has worked, if we are to adopt this e-procurement, should it be done in phases to ensure that any challenges that arise are addressed as the rollout is done in phases?
Let me say this. The only master architect is the majesty of heaven, and only. Anything that is done by human beings is bound to disappoint in one way or another. And then with that understanding, then it is very, very important we try things in phases, or we do things in pilots. What do I mean? And when you are doing things in pilot, remember, let me go to the issues of vaccines. When you want to know vaccine is effective, you either use a baboon or a guinea pig. Why do you use that? A guinea pig, we would rather lose a guinea pig but not a human being. We never try vaccines on human beings. We have to use them on the less loss. loss that is not as painful as losing a human being. What do I mean? This EGP system, I would have thought, as good as it is, with very good intention, and sometimes it is very important good intentions are accompanied by good people. And the good people are also bound to become bad people if you threaten them. Because these are systems and they can be sabotaged by the people you are threatening to sack if they don't toe the line. And this system of procurement, if its intention is to fight corruption, it is important that we do it at pilot stages and use less important dockets. That if there was delay, the harm is not as bad as in other dockets like health, roads, and education. The Council of Governors are meeting today, and they're arguing that the system is not as friendly as it is. In other words, we have a matter in court, sort of, a public court, so to speak. The president is saying this, and then another team is saying this, Council of Governors. And I think it's very important. Maybe you create time either for me and my colleague here or any other person that after what happens today, we will come and discuss it. Because it is very important to know that this system, when people need to know, they need to know E means electronic, G for government procurement system. It means a person in a place there is no signal, that is internet, and a person, and because I've gone around, for example, Wakulima market, if you went to Wakulima market, the ladies you find there, they supply cabbages and others in institutions like schools, potatoes and onion. And I found most of the ladies there, the business ladies, they do not have smartphones. So you are telling us that we have to suspend our livelihoods until you think it's right for us to live. You want to dictate when we start living and when we end our lives. Because a mama mboga being affected, for example, she supplies, for example, Nairobi school, and she's called bring this number of kilos, but then she has to wait to acquire a smartphone. What you think is little money, that a smartphone at 10,000 is not a lot of money. It is a lot. That is money that is enough for somebody's capital to do business. And now transitioning them from kamwizi to smartphone.
Yes.
You are telling that person to suspend their lives until they live according to your dictates. The other day, on 20th of last month, at the National Assembly, led by Chief Konga, the chairman of that committee, they discussed this system and they said send it back to this center. They sent it back to the Ministry of Finance, and the CS for Finance, Bandi, was told to look into these issues. And I remember they said the system is discriminative, because their argument was, if there is no signal somewhere in Mandera, Kerio Valley, somewhere in Kaskeo, somewhere, so, and those people, they have been doing, remember, there are government institutions in those locations.
Yes.
Have they been receiving supplies, goods and services? Yes. What have they been doing before? They have been supplied using the old system. Why then we continue with it so that we do? Remember, we have lost a full month, and a full month in this country of not doing business.
Yes.
It's a lot of money.
Yes.
And what does that mean? A lot of money. You are affecting livelihoods. This last week, when children were going back to school, parents were complaining they had nothing. And the little that they had, they were paying school fees. They were saying, we do not have hope of doing business anytime soon. So my proposal would have been, without issuing threats, because this nation we need to wake up, and we find that our uncertainties have been reduced by our leaders. But when our leaders issue tough statements like that, they increase our anxieties. And when we are anxious, we become uncertain, and then we are not able to think straight, and this nation needs to have a citizen that thinks straight. So this issue of EGP, it needs to be implemented in phases, considering the less harmful dockets, where the delay of procuring goods and services for 2 months will not hurt much as in others. Otherwise, we're just throwing it. It's like just coming up with vaccine, and you are not using guinea pigs or monkeys to try it. You are just wanting to inject human beings. It's direct, and we may have casualties.
You know,
and let me remind you, Mike, in 2024, when Parliament and the President ignored the views of a majority of Kenyans in terms of the finance bill, we ended up on the streets. That is the same talk that the President is actually bringing on forth, that it must be passed, and those who are not for it, they should find a place to go and work. That is the same talk that happened back then, that saw people back to the streets, because they were not being listened to. So in terms of the President, in his statements, I think he needs to be more careful, given his position as the President of the Republic of Kenya, in articulating issues and talking to the people that he leads. Yes.
Even as such, the system has been touted as the only way to curb kickbacks and inflated contracts. Will it achieve that if implemented and it works?
At the end of the day, the question is, how efficient is that system? How accessible is it? How clean is that system going to be to ensure that whatever that is happening in the old system is efficiently and easily done in the new system? If those two things are not achieved in this proposed or new system that the President is forcing into the throats of governors and any other person involved, if those two issues are not attained, then it will not achieve anything. Yes.
When you look at what the CS for Treasury said, that those who are opposing the system are beneficiaries of loopholes. Is that really the case, or there are serious issues that need to be addressed within this system?
The problem I have with the CS is that he is doing a political talk. He needs to come out and say, Frank Onchweri Nyamari is a beneficiary of the old system in this and this way. That is the reason as to why he is in the forefront in opposing. The CS has not done that. The CS is only creating reasons for, which are not viable. We need actions. We need to be told, why is so and so not supporting this system? It's because so and so is doing ABCD. Who is this so and so? So the CS cannot just come and say that some of you who are not supporting the system, it's because you are involved. Who are these some of you? We need to address that question first. We are moving from the face of politics to actual service delivery. If that is not done, then these talks are just as useless as yesterday. Yes.
What do you think, Mr. Peter? Is this a case of being politics, playing to the gallery with matters to do with e-procurement? Because it has been, as I said, touted as one of the best ways to deal with kickbacks and inflated contracts.
You are saying kickbacks, inflated contracts, and the CS, who is in charge of Treasury himself, gives us ambiguous statements. And you know, ambiguity can never be a solution to anything, because you can't work with something that is formless, shapeless. You see, when somebody comes and says loopholes, they need to tell us which loopholes. In the year 1992, we came from one-party system to multi-party.
Yes.
And why? Because it was outlined the challenges, the disadvantages, the shortcomings of a single party in terms of democratic space. So there were reasons. They were well outlined. So if you keep on telling us ambiguous statements in the sense that loopholes, what is loopholes? which loopholes. You see, if they are beneficiaries, for example, if they were beneficiaries of single party, you know very well, it is not retrospective. We won't go back and start judging. So even if we have billionaires walking around as a result of the loopholes that were in that old system, we will have very little to do, to arrest them, to charge them, because the system allowed such. Those loopholes, they were there. So what we want to know is the loopholes. It is not the beneficiaries of the loopholes. If we knew the loopholes, they were outlined properly, we will be, as citizens, even here as we discuss, we will be discussing loophole number 1, what do you think we can do about it? Loop number 2, what do you think we can do about it? And the most dangerous and unavoidable loophole number 3. That if we are discussing those things here, that will be extremely productive. But as for now, because they have chosen to issue political statements in a manner that is like poetry, because they are not, they don't have substance. Anything that has no substance, because they lack prose in them, those are just ambiguities, and it's hard to work with ambiguity. If we said we have in this studio we have 5 people, that is not enough. We need to go down. We have 5 men and 5 ladies. That makes it things clear. So that if we needed some help here, help is also categorized in terms of the gender sometimes. Because if we needed some help, we need some people who come here and with some lessons. If we have slain by the Holy Ghost here, so we need ushers who are feminine in nature to come and take care of the ladies. So that one avoids ambiguities. And that one gives us the opportunity to give the correct prescription. But as for now, we are just fighting the air. We do not know which loopholes. If we do not know the loopholes of the old, it will be very difficult to convince people that the new system is going to address those loopholes. Which loopholes? Yeah.
And in fact, it is one of the things that will be discussed today in the meeting that was convened by Council of Governors regarding this system, because I feel another e-citizen-like procurement system for all counties will target their own source revenue that counties generate. So if they feel like this going forward, Wakili, what should be done surrounding this e-procurement system that they feel it's being bulldozed towards them?
I think if I got your question clearly, the way forward, or rather the suggestions by the governors in the council are what, because at the end of the day, implementation will be done by county governments. So if you not be able to listen to their views and be able to address that which they are bringing out, you are doomed to fail. So ideally, let the government be able to take the views, not be able to hurry, push, and address those issues as they are, so that when the county governments accept these platforms, they are able to deliver without delays. Because at the end of the day, the question is, how easy is it? How accessible is it? How efficient is the system? If those 3 aspects are lost, then we will not be having a proper system. We will be having a system full of loopholes, as Mutuku has said, and we will not even be able to address those loopholes. So let us look at the efficiency part of it, the accessibility part of it. No, he has brought in a very key aspect that, yes, in as much as a country we are technologically empowered or exposed in terms of internet, there are some parts which are still not internet accessible. The network is not good. So let us see to it as a government on how we can improve on that aspect, so that when the system is in place, we are able to access it and it becomes efficient. Yes.
Mutuku, in terms of service delivery, how do you see this system affecting service delivery?
It has already affected because for 1 month, there are services that have not been procured. Services and goods have not been procured. And as long as we keep on politicking, pushing back and forth, the executive and the council of governors, we continue. Remember, a delay in 1 day in this Kenya of procuring services and goods affects services in a big way. For example, if we had a serious potholes, so for example, or we have a natural calamity, because natural calamity does not give signal when it happens, in the sense that if a certain road network was cut off because of as a result of natural calamity in this nation, God forbid, then Kura, for example, which is mandated to repair urban roads, will not move to repair the roads because the system is not in place. So is Kera and Keneha and other. For example, I'm not sure whether we have procured drugs that we so much need. So this one is affecting service delivery. Already 1 month is a month of pain, because when we don't have services in this country, even for a day, because we never established institutions to have delays in service delivery. We established institutions so that services are brought to the people timely and in the form that they are needed, and at the time they are needed. You see, for example, for wisdom or lack of it, the new constitution created 47 counties. People need 47 counties were not created to make some people rich or others poor. They were creating to offer or to take services to every part of this country. And so it's when you see a small nursery school coming up in your neighborhood, it shows you that there is the population that needs the services of that nursery school. So this system, if it continues causing these delays, services are being affected, and we exist to provide services. The reason we have the Kenya Kwanza regime. Kenya Kwanza regime was elected to provide services. So anything that is being done that does not enhance service delivery, that causes the services to be delayed, that thing the president should rethink. And probably, you know, sometimes as a driver, you may have, a driver may have a conductor and a makanga. A conductor charging people, and the makanga asking people to get in the automobile or the matatu. The driver is concentrating, looking ahead to take these people to the promised destination. So as the president is concentrating, taking the populace to the promised destination, maybe the makangas and the conductors are mishandling the citizens. And in this case, the makangas are the CSs, the PSs, and the advisors, because they should have now told the president that this thing is not practical, because I don't think it is in the wisdom of the president that any Kenyan, even a single one, anywhere in Kerio Valley, Makutano, wherever, Mandera, Wajir, everywhere, that somebody suffers for a day because a system is not in place. Yes.
Indeed. You know, there's a lot to talk about in terms of the things that are happening in the nation, but I want you to give your final submission in all this, and I start with you, Akili.
No, Mama, I think I'll be very brief. I've always said that the government is tasked by its citizens to deliver and make the citizens be able to realize that which they aspire. And that's all that is captured in the Constitution of Kenya 2010. In as much as there are suggestions to have it reviewed, but it has not been reviewed. We need to achieve that which is, first of all, envisioned therein, so that we can be able to move forward as a country. In as much as SHA is concerned, in as much as E-procurement is concerned, it's a good initiative. But we have people who have been pulling our legs, taking us 10 steps backwards when we make 1 step forward. We need to deal with those people and everybody, every aspect every person needs to come on board and play their role.
Yes.
If that is not done, we will be stuck. I remember in 2002, we made a very bold step as a country from growing from a poor nation to a developing country. And that is a significant move that should now enable us. And now from 2002 to 2022, those are 20 years down the line, we need to move from a developing country to a developed country. I think that is where we belong.
Indeed.
When you see all these issues, when you see all this back and forth, it tells you that there is something which is happening, and we can only be able to make that final step when we have efficiency in our systems, trust in our leaders and authorities, and we are able to do services far much better than yesterday. So going forward, we need to focus more on delivering service and making our institutions efficient in service delivery.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Mr. Peter?
From the service delivery point of view, any system, any policies, let it be people-centered system and policy. Anything that enhances the livelihoods of our people, makes it easy, accessible, and devoid of manipulation, let it be. But as long as it makes life difficult for one is too much. So we will not wish that a system is introduced that delays, disrupts, and disorients any of the citizens.
Yes.
So I would say any system, as long as it enhances service delivery, and any policies, as long as it enhances service delivery, I will go for it, and any other Kenyan will go for it.
Yes.
Otherwise, let us be a working nation, a listening nation, reasoning together. If God himself would tell people, come and let us reason together, let us reason together and move forward. But as for any Kenyan, wherever they are, in any part of this country, that they have to suffer as they wait for a system to be in place. It's only human being who was allowed to suffer, and he was allowed to suffer because he came here to suffer for our sins. It's only Jesus Christ. No other human being should suffer on behalf of the other. Yep.
Indeed. Gentlemen, your time is very much appreciated. That is Peter Mutuku Mutua, who is a governance and leadership expert, and also Frank Nyamari, who is an advocate of the High Court, joining us here on Politics to talk about the state of the nation. And I want to leave you with the question of the day we are asking. What was the highlight, your highlight rather, of the CHAN tournament? Actually, and I want to get, what was your highlight, Wakili, of this whole tournament?
We had fun.
Yes.
We enjoyed. We shouted.
Yes.
And we look forward to AFCON.
Yes.
I believe it will be far much better than it is today, and let the government take note of the problems that we had during CHAN and be able to address them even as we move forward, gearing towards AFCON.
Indeed.
Yes.
Peter, what was your highlight?
You know, sometimes when things happen as a result of your contribution, you can't forget.
Yes.
Because I was not involved in planning or organizing CHAN.
Yes.
However, after we had the crisis of funds, we in Nairobi County suggested that we needed to have fund zones, and they were created. We were able to have people going to Uhuru Park. I remember discussing that matter with other stakeholders at one of the TV stations, and I suggested that we have fund zones, and the governor and the minister in charge of sports, they implemented. We had fund zones that helped us control the crowds, and then in the future, we have now a product that we can give to the citizens or offer to people in this city, and an alternative. So we are a government of giving good alternatives. That is my highlight.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Let us know what the highlight. What was your highlight on the just concluded CHAN tournament? Because that's something that does not happen every day here in Kenya. And at KBC Channel 1 is our social media handles. Let us know what was your highlight. This is where we end Eye on Politics. My name is Mike Migu. This is Good Morning Kenya. Stay with us.
the Lord. My name is Pastor Tim Mwangi, and I want to invite you for a life-changing, transformative show.
I was blinded and thrown to the floor on my knees, just like Saul.
Conversations.
Gen Z ni nani? E-boldness mnatoa wapi?
Kuna mentality fulani yenye inakujenga. Si a rebellion really, but ni ya ku-question system.
Engagements that are life-changing and provocative.
When you are young, your core business should be to create value in yourself.
Join me, DJ Andy C, bringing to you Kingdom Vibe, full of gospel bangers.
Join us for Angaza Show.
Every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Only on KBC Channel 1.
L1, welcome back, and you continue to watch Good Morning Kenya show, and the segment on air right now is the Western Spectrum, and today we are looking at, we are continuing our discussion on the Katiba at 15, and the specific aspect that we are looking at right now is the devolution. Remember, devolution is one of the many benefits that we have been able to get from the 2010 Constitution that was promulgated in 2010, actually, and last week, that is the 27th of August 2025, Kenya marked 15 years since promulgation of the constitution that is currently in use. And talking about devolution right now, I am joined by a very able team here, led by the Deputy Governor for Kisumu, that is Honorable Dr. Matthews Owili, right in the middle. And just next to me is Honorable Seth Okumu, actually that is the member of County Assembly of Kisumu, representing East Seme. And the far end is a man of many titles, Chris Owala. Chris Owala, the one that matters to us right now is that Chris Owala is a steering committee member of the Kenya Devolution Civil Society Working Group. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time for us this morning to talk about this whole issue of devolution. Banadeji, I think it is right to start with you because you have been in this particular seat leading Kisumu alongside Governor Professor Peter Nyang'nyong'o. Devolution as it is, I will ask you if you believe that right now, do Kenyans, the ordinary Kenyans, do they understand what devolution is? Starting with you.
For having us here this morning for this very important topic, which is devolution. Sure. And you rightfully observe that probably out of that 2010 constitution, Kipengea devolution probably has been the greatest, benefit, has been of great benefit to Kenyans. Now you're asking me if Kenyans understand devolution? Yes, they do. At least in Kisumu, if I can give the case of Kisumu, yes. They do understand, and the citizens know what they expect out of, the county governments, yes. And in many cases they even demand it. Yeah. So yes, they understand. Okay. The level of understanding of devolution, especially in Kisumu, is very high, and I believe it is the same all over.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking that because you see sometimes we cover so many stories. People call us to cover stories of maybe roads not being done, and the MCS sometimes get the blaming factor because they are right there with the wananchi in the grassroots. And that brings me to you, Seth. you are serving your second term as the member of County Assembly representing East Seme. You interact with the Wananchi quite a lot. Do you think they understand what devolution is?
Like you said, my name is Seth Okum, the MCA is Seme. I want to say that people appreciate devolution, but up to now I want to respectfully disagree with the DG that people have not completely understood the Constitution 2010 and which structures were devolved and which structures were not devolved. Right now, if anything happens in the village, they will come to the MCA first. Whether it's supposed to be done by the national government, whether it's supposed to be done by the county government, they will come for the MCA because they know Constitution was devolved and governance structure was also devolved. And the first person they see is the member of County Assembly. You see roads that have remained in Kenha, you see roads that have remained with Kera, you see roads that have remained with Kura, you see roads that are being done with the county government. But when any road is not maintained or done, they always come to the county government. That happens a lot. Right now with bursaries, for example, county governments are still asked to pay bursaries for high school, universities and colleges, yet those were not devolved. So yes, people appreciate devolution, but I think there needs to be a lot of sensitization on what was devolved and what was not devolved.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Seth, it is the second decade of devolution rollout. You belong in the civil society. From your understanding, do Kenyan understand what devolution is?
No, you said Seth.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
I think partially, I can say the Kenyan understand the devolution because they know what it is. You can't take it away from them. That extent, they value it because I think it's the best thing that ever happened to the 21st century. But there are elements of either deliberately ignoring the law, or the citizen also, when you expect something, you don't care where it comes from. So people tend not to follow the law, what the law says, because if you look at the section of the law, they say there are devolved functions, then there are national government functions. But they say again, they are what we call residual functions. And they say that any function that is residual will become a national government function. Okay. But here in the context that the national government has a duty, a capacity building, the county government to implement and effectively discharge devolution. But they realize that they want to hold that power so that the people still go run to national government. Then you realize that the attempt to educate citizens, the little resources are put in civic education. The never citizen engage with the government of the day because that's what is so lacking. But partially, there's understanding. I can't say that zero understanding. There's element of understanding, but implementation of the process is what's done at times deliberately, so that it's assumed, because Mheshimiwa here knows that even if people come to them, they know that some of those functions are not theirs. Sure. But they still want to tell people that they promise people when they campaign, I'll build a road. But they know these are functions of executive. So I think it's the communication, which is communicated out deliberately for convenience.
In other words, you're saying that it is the leaders themselves that are not conducting the proper civic education to the Wananchi?
Yes. Right. Because if you go to Mheshimiwa Seth, and when they campaign, they say, I'll bring this road. But they know very well that the road rely on Mheshimiwa William and Professor Nyong'o to deliver. So then they go there and they say they want to build. But so that the people, that way people goes to them, when people have anything, they say, my MCA will do it. Right. So I think deliberately, the writers of the Constitution had got a good intention. Sure. But what came out is that the implementation of the devolution comes with resources. Where there are resources, there's a fight. Sure. And that, to me, that's where it must be distinguished. And that's why the debate now that is happening, that the NGCDF be abolished, is critical.
All right. Yes. Fine. Seth, you take the blame game here, according to Chris, and we are having campaigns hitting the road probably in a year's time or even 2 years' time. Don't tell Wananchi you'll build roads when actually that is not yours.
That the understanding of devolution is not limited to knowing which function belongs to who. Okay. I think, like, for example, if you think about Mheshimiwa here, he's an elected representative of the people at the grassroots, meaning that if you envisage, the Constitution of Kenya envisage that the two levels of government will be separate but interdependent.
Yes.
So they are still just as entitled to ask him about a road that unfortunately is being handled by a carer, just like they are, because he's their representative at that level. The MP ordinarily normally will be in Nairobi. So then it is up to him, in the spirit of interdependability, to then seek out answers for his people.
Okay.
Yeah. So these guys can ask us anything. They're entitled to that. I mean, I am the deputy governor of Kisumu. These guys elected us, and we are supposed to be
answer every question.
Every question. Yeah. So we cannot say that since they do not know whether this road belongs to them, they don't understand it.
But you all agree that there is a need for civic education to be conducted. Yes. Fine. Moving forward. Just last month, actually, the Devolution conference itself was held in Homa Bay under the theme for the people, for prosperity, devolution as a catalyst for equity, inclusion, and social justice. And that speaks to the spirit of devolution, and which is to bring services closer to Mwananchi, and also have the Mwananchi have a stake and have a voice in some of the, in all the policies and in governance, basically. There has been a debate on whether devolution actually is spurring development at the grassroots level, or it is just an avenue to create job opportunities for those people who work in the county government. I'll start with you, DG. You're in the executive and understand how these roles are performed in terms of what budget goes towards the wage bill, which one goes towards development. Is devolution meant to spur development at the grassroots level, or is it just an avenue to create job opportunities?
Well, all there for us to see. You see, I'll be doing a self-assessment because I'm part of the Devolution family, and I'll be very interested in knowing what my brother Chris has to say, about what has worked or what has not worked, or whether the impact is there, or whether the allegation that counties have become centers for, like employment bureaus. You see, every year we have gathered once, apart from the last 4 years, to look at the gains and the misses, And you've just mentioned the Devolution conference. In the last 4 years, we've decided now we'll do a biannual, engagement. Yeah, and counties come together, and I can tell you, and you are in Homa Bay, and you can already see. Now that said, back home, because I was elected in Kisumu, so I sometimes want to give an assessment of the county where I work. We see every single year, and Mheshimiwa here will tell you, we gather our people together to tell them, our achievement based on what we promised, on the budget and the annual development plan, and it is all there. Now, if you look at the county of Kisumu, for example, post-devolution and now, the difference is like day and night. If you were to start counting the benefits between, each and every department, I mean, even a whole day may not be sufficient, But I think that for me, I would say that devolution in this country, largely has worked. And I know there are many instances where we've had misses, not just in the county of Kisumu, in many other places. And I keep saying that we have agencies of government, that were created with the sole aim of trying to resolve some of those issues that, probably will not make devolution work or other things, And we'll be talking about those probably in detail, as we move on. But if you ask me, yes, counties are struggling with the issue of the wage bill. If you think about a county like Kisumu, when we, when devolution came in, Kisumu was basically a city. But, all the employees were transited into the counties. Counties were not given, the opportunity, for example, to then choose or employ those they thought would be, useful in their functions and, like that. So basically, guys are still struggling with that.
Are you agreeing with me? Not basically with me, but with the debate that counties spend much on wage bill?
Quite a number of them spend quite a bit on the wage bill, not because they like it, but it's because, and you cannot just fire people. So eventually, with the time, all these things get streamlined. That's what I think. Yes, in another few years, we'll have a very streamlined, workforce, by the way, in the county government, where we can be able to meet the threshold.
Seth, you sit in the legislative arm of governance. and employment actually happens at from the executive level. Given your position, you're serving. You're serving as your second term, and you're serving in your second term, and you've basically observed the rollout of Devolution so far. Is it an employment bureau, or it's meant to spur growth?
I think when you talk of employment, then you mean the formal employment. But I think with how we brought Devolution was to bring both development and employment. And the employment can be both direct and indirect. I think let's appreciate all that. And I want to give example with indirect employment. I mean, we have a lot of contractors here who are working for the county government who also have income. We have so many projects that help people get some little income. For example, we have fish cages that have been taken to the beaches so that they can have some income. But when you talk about formal employment, comparatively development, you know, for so long people have compared the budget in terms of development, and I think they relate to like brick and mortar vis-a-vis people who are employed. I mean, right now we don't have enough ECD teachers in our centers. We don't have enough nurses. We don't have enough doctors. But people don't see that as development. If we employ more doctors, especially specialists, people will get good services in our hospitals. But people don't count that as development. If you have good teachers in our ECDs, then our children will have proper background of education. People don't see that as development. If you take drugs to the hospital, it's not considered development, but they need it. So people have seen development as brick and mortar and road and structures that they can observe. But we must appreciate development as also soft skills that people apply. So Devolution came for both, and we appreciate. We still need more. I don't want to run away from that. We still need more staff in our counties for very specific and specialized skills so that Devolution can properly work.
And that speaks to our very first point of creating awareness, telling wananchi what really what Devolution actually brings, both services and the physical aspects of it that we can basically see. Chris?
Yes. I tend to think I disagree with Mr. Nabit because the intention of Devolution was to provide service closer to the people. Sure. So that in Kisumu here, for example, the Nairobi for Kisumians will ought to have been Kisumu town. That's what ought to be the Nairobi. Yes, employment ought to be there, but not to the level that we are seeing today. Because you know, when you are overemployed, that people are at the office and they don't have the resources to go out and work. For example, if you have a staff that they come and report and sit in the office, you know, there's no productivity of that staff. Okay. But if you have a staff that is a doctor that is needed in the facility, then that's a good case. It produces something. If you have a nurse, it helps so that people have the money back in their pocket. But if you have a staff that you are paying and there's no value they are bringing, because I know counties a lot, that you go there and you employ, for example, another county that I not mentioned them here, because they are not here to defend themselves. They have employed the wage bill. If you take wage bill and O&M, it's 85%. So what do you remain with to offer the key service delivery you are supposed to offer? And I think that's where the problem is. Employment is not bad, but if you employ for what are you bringing in? Because I remember Mheshimiwa here knows that there were staff that were absorbed at the local authorities, there were staff that were found at the national government, and there are staff that have been recruited after that. But if you look at that, the variation is there. But you ought to have done what the Deputy Governor is saying. They ought to have been done the audits, or established a human resource audit, and established, yes, we have this staff, they are available. What can you bring in? What is the gap? That is not being done. And to me, that's where there's a disconnect. Second thing is that when we were devolving this function, effective costing was never done. For example, if you get a Kisumu city,
just hold it right there, because when you talk about costing, I think we're going to discuss this just in a while. We will want to know if really Devolution is affordable in Kenya, or it's basically...
Because you realize that Kisumu had got provincial headquarters, then they had got facilities. So when you give them money, you don't factor that. You just tell them this 20 billion for you, but not looking at what was their wage bill. They found the staff at the provincial level, which mean that they can become staff of Kisumu County. But now, if you compare Kisumu County and other counties that were not provincial headquarters, Kisumu County had got more staff, which county government had to deal with. But this was never a factor when now you are transferring the function. You treat Kisumu like another county.
If I understand you well, you're trying to say that the counties actually spend much more money on, or rather resources on pay on the wage bill rather than development as it is supposed to be, all right? And that calls for maybe a relook into this whole issue. And talking about development, like we mentioned, that Mwananchi needs to have a say in all the policy formulation and all the other projects being implemented for their benefit. I want to, at this point, I really want to ask if there is that constant engagement of Mwananchi in governance, Banadiji. Do we, especially now that county government of Kisumu, do we have a framework to engage Mwananchi, or rather to get their voices to also count in these policy formulations and any other governance matter?
Well, we'll do at this level, at least in Kisumu, without engaging with the people. If you want to draw your plans, okay, the long term, short term, and all these kind of things, you have to do what is called public participation. Okay. If you have to identify projects, and Muchimia knows that very well. Yeah, we don't identify the projects from the office to the people. The people identify their projects based on their priorities. Of course, I think that funds for public participation, and I'll be very interested in knowing what he thinks. We need to really look at our budget, so to speak, in terms of what we can, employ or in engagement with the people. I know we do public participation, but if you ask me, I think it is something that we need to, we need to engage with the people more. Okay. Every time when I go out there, people have, but they don't have enough, engagement, enough time to engage with the people. But yes, there's nothing that you do according to the county government, act that you do not engage with the people. Yeah.
Seth, you chair the education committee at the county assembly of Kisumu. Before you come up with the allocation, or how you allocate funds towards the bursary that you are talking about, is it a decision of the committee that you chair, or this comes from the Mwananchi? Just briefly before we go take that break.
I think budget estimate as a document is a document of the executive. The assembly is to appropriate. And before you do that appropriation, you confirm with the people, like DJ said, you do public participation. You go back with the same document to the people, and you ask them that this document has been brought to the assembly, and they intend us to approve it the way it is. Do you agree with it? They'll tell you where to agree, where not to agree, where to change, and stuff like that. So, yes, we do public participation. But I'll mention that the public participation we do, to me, is still not effective. For example, with the budget documents, when you're having different people coming for public participation for the same document, I mean, you'll always get varied results. The person who came today and the person who came the next day are different, and everybody is coming with their opinion. So we need to organize some public participation so that we have some consistent people, because budget documents flow from the ADP to CIDP to CBROP to fiscal strategy paper, all the way until you get the estimate and the finance bill. They flow. But when you're having different people every time, yes, we'll be happy as Kenyans that we are doing public participation, but Chris will agree with me. It will be interesting every time you go. Very, very interesting.
Chris, as you respond to that, before let us just take a very short break. We are taking a very short break. When we come back, we continue with the Western Spectrum here on Good Morning Kenya, right on KBC.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Wewe ndio mwizi tu, uone ni mlevi. Nini imefika hapa? Nadhani ni venye school fees yako inamsumbua.
Daddy, nini umeficha?
Allah, nini mbaya?
Daddy.
Nini? Elijah, wewe!
Nika, hakuna mahali imeandikwa mimi ndio nitamaliza umaskini wa familia yenu. Ile kitu anafanya na Pastor John.
Nyamaza. Nitacheka mimi.
Thank you so much for keeping it Channel 1. You are watching Western Spectrum on Good Morning Kenya. And we continue our conversation on devolution. And Chris, before we took this very short break, we were talking about public participation, engaging wananchi on governance. You are one of the people who engage in participation here in Kisumu. Do you believe that the county, the executive is engaging wananchi enough in rolling out their projects?
You know, we don't want to make it Kisumu fair. But
Sure.
if I
Generally,
speak about Kisumu, Kisumu was one of the counties that have got framework up to village level for village council, village admin. Kisumu has got, we work with Kisumu County together to produce public participation policy document that define how public participation is supposed to be done. The problem is that many a times our laws are not followed to the letter, the implementation. They are, if you look at the article, the chapter 10 of the Kenya Constitution, it's robust. We don't need even an act if you really live to that vision. But the reality is that there are less resources to engage public and the issue of public participation. There is less civic education because you cannot engage effectively if you don't have the information. Then access info is also a problem. But again, the bigger population of our young people are not people who have the patience to sit down. So the county government need to be robust in how they want to engage them. How do county government use social media to engage young people because they cannot be in a hall? That's a waste of time for them. So the county government must be robust. Look at how do you use Express to engage young people in the budget? How do you use social Facebook to engage people in the budget? And critically, the feedback mechanism. And where the trust is lost here is the feedback. When you go out, check people's views in a budget making process. Then you now go back and start process of supplementary. Now what I said is being removed without coming back to me. And now budget loses the character. So I lose the trust in the government. That to me, that's what needs to be cured. Supplementary is a tool for implementing the budget. It's not the budget. And that's where, to me, issue of participation become weak. And again, when you want to have participation, need to be flow. It doesn't need to be controlled. But what makes people the confidence they have the government? If I participate yesterday, and my issue that was I shared in the meeting and we agreed is done, I will have the motivation to come tomorrow. But if I participate today, I raise one road not done this year, I raise the second year, not done. I raise the third year, not done. I will lose, I get bored, and I sit back. To me, that's where the rubber meets the road. Then, if you look at the budget, there's very little resources that goes toward engaging the people. And I think Mheshimiwa in legislation and moving forward, and Mheshimiwa here want to be a governor next time. You want to trust him that this where the disconnect is there between the people and the government. So this bridge needs to be built. And this bridge needs to be built in many ways. It doesn't need even major resources. The governor, his team can have got what we call listening meetings, where you go sit to the people under the tree, listen to them, and you document. And this thing can become issue that goes to the budget. Yes.
And basically you're saying we can always leverage technology actually to to make public participation work very effectively. And now, I'm very sure you've heard, within the context of devolution, you must have heard the phrase where people say that the legislature is not an arm of the executive. Seth, this really applies to you much. I will start with you, DJ, but do you think the executive actually, it does probably at the grassroots, the executive, many times it gets the blame that it is coercing the executive, or rather this legislature, to pass the will of the executive. Is that so at the county level?
Separation of functions between the executive and the assembly. The assembly are basically supposed to oversight us, and other than that, they're supposed to legislate. And legislations can originate from the county as well. From the executive as well. And of course, we've been accused, especially in counties where there's harmony between the executive and the assembly, like Kisumu, that the assembly is now an extension of the executive. I think far from it. The fact that they are oversighting us does not mean that we cannot agree on issues. Remember, we are all elected to serve the same people. So the same needs that the people have really must be sorted out by the executive in consultation with the members of the county assembly. Remember, they're the ones who are elected by the people to represent them. And I was telling you earlier that one of the reasons why this guy has veto power is because he talks on behalf of the people of East Sem. They elected him to be there. We go talk to them, yes, but this guy also has a way that he can represent his people, in our functions and our meetings and everything. Yes, I think the harmony between the executive and the legislature does not necessarily mean that they're in bed, as they always say.
It's working together to serve Mwananchi. Seth, you are serving your second time at the County Assembly of Kisumu. Is the legislative wing independent?
I want to agree that the legislative wing of the Kisumu County Assembly is independent. It might not be happening in other places. And just like the Deputy Governor has mentioned, that we have agreed that we can do what we call consultative oversight. We agree on things before they come to the assembly, so that it makes it easier. We don't have to argue in the assembly over things that we can agree outside. Let's say a budget or a legislative proposal. We agree on what we want, and so that by the time it's going to the assembly, we have agreed on most things, and it's easy for us to go through it and pass it. We've done that because, like you said, our intention is to serve the people. The creation of these two levels and two arms of government is to serve the people so that people can get services. So we don't want situations where we take so long pondering over issues that can be agreed on very quickly. So for so long we've been doing that consultation on so many documents, and people believe that means that we are sleeping with the executive. We have peacefully also sent away proposals that the executive have brought to the assembly, and nobody talks about because they don't. We tell them we are not agreeing with this, but they are like just take it to the assembly. I think we have sent away ministers that have been brought by Professor Nyong in Kisumu Assembly very peacefully, with no war, nothing. We just tell him, after our deliberation, we have decided we are not going to approve this, and that has happened to I think at least 3 or more ministers. And I believe that's what needs to be happening in counties. We don't want to see the creature thing, where people fight, where you see MCs fighting in the assembly, those supporting the governor, those who are not supporting, over an issue.
And by then they advance their reasons for those rejections, which, I mean, we see and we let it pass. Yeah.
And their reasons must be centered on the people.
Yes.
Chris, you follow the relationship between the executive and the legislature very, very dearly. What's your observation?
My observation, I agree partially that there's oversight is not a fight.
Okay.
Oversight need to be is the interest of the people, looking at what serve the people, what is the law says. But at times, I agree that at times, if you look at Kisumu, they advance that, but at times they sleep on it. But at times they are coerced. And there are many cases. If you want me to do, I can say, but for the sake of I can
mention it.
I have never been coerced to do anything.
For example, if they have got a county secretary that didn't follow the procedure, being in the office, that to me is.
I think that's a very strong allegation, because our county secretary was brought before the assembly. We vetted and we debated.
The procedure of Self knows very well how the county secretary is supposed to be appointed, and he knows very well. He's a legislator who's a senior legislator in the house, and these are very weighty things. But because if assembly sleep on the job. Even on the budget. For example, in some counties, assembly uses their position to coerce CCs. Some CCs are not working because you are always threatened with impeachment. But I tend to feel that assembly is supposed to look at the welfare of the people. If there are some issues that have happened, they are discussed in a robust way without witch hunt. If you use the framework of witch hunt in any institution, then there's no development because people live in fear. But if people can be engaging in a way that is robust and say, even if I'm your junior, I bring my issue and you disagree and agree and get away, rather than like what we are seeing in Kericho, where I use my position and say, I must finish you. I don't think anyone can live if somebody's light is dim. But if we all get feed on each other and say, Wycliffe, here you are weak, can you go and we give you time to go and correct so that we come back? To me, that will, because devolution assistant research, Wycliffe, if there are many fights, even donors who want to support that county will not
they will withdraw his.
If there are many fights, citizens will take sides. And it will be you against me. And at the end of the day, 5 years is not a long period. If you ever realize, we are going to election. You can't be say that I'll punish you in election time. No. We should have a framework that you correct each other and move with those problems rather than waiting for 5 years to correct each other. So that it can be in a midway, and so that at the end of the day, no one is perfect. But I have looked at our region and I have engaged in many counties. But I feel what the biggest problem is that everyone wants to control themselves. If we allow national government to effectively transfer functions, and the county government gets their money now national government has got almost 272 billion, the money which was meant for counties. If that money is brought here and we have a framework to work, then I think devolution will be the perfect thing for all of us.
That ought to have been your parting shot, that we need to devolve resources as we devolve functions as well. But now, the point that I'm going to raise next is one that has been touted as the biggest elephant in devolution. We talk about graft. We've had the national agency that is responsible for thwarting graft, that is the ESSA, having run-ins with many devolved units in the country. I'm going to start with you, DG. You are at the center of devolution implementation, especially now being, through your position as the Deputy Governor of Kisumu. Graft issues, is it something that we can do away with? Can we just wake up and say and realize these run-ins, they're just no longer there?
Everything rises and falls at the level of leadership. And I want to tell you that I'm very happy that in this country, our two top leaders have decided, to confront the ghost of corruption head on. If you ask me whether there's corruption in this country, in counties, it is true that our country, we have made it look like, even for you to access any service, you must, part with something.
And that's not.
Yeah, it is what now people believe. So really, it is. We must get out of here. And so I like the conversation that is now ongoing. Just the other day, the president and the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga called out members of parliament, both at the Senate and the National Assembly, to live by example and to abhor corruption. Sure. And I think the same should be directed to the Council of Governors and indeed to all of us as a country. If we do not we have to make a decision whether we want to do 180 degrees turn, because the trend is not good. Yes. Now, I am one of the lucky deputy governors because I work with a governor who has zero tolerance to corruption. And I'm not saying that within the county government system there's no iota of corruption. Okay? So what we are saying is that people need to make a decision. And I think it is high time. And I don't see that conversation really picking the momentum that I expected it to pick. So that we decide whether we want to go that direction or whether we want to be, because corruption is really eating our society inside out. It's sometimes good to be honest.
So, one of the roles of the legislature is to oversight, and you see development basically is implemented by the executive. Have you pointed out probably some of the areas where you see the county government, the executive has gone wrong in terms of this graft allegation?
I'm privileged to be a member of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee in the County Assembly of Kisumu. And we do several reports on the Auditor General's report on financial statements for Kisumu County. Several recommendations we have done, some to the executive, some to the other wings of government, the DCI, the EACC. And I think the level of corruption in Kenya is almost everywhere, including the places that you recommend action to be taken.
Imagine.
We must have a conversation as a country.
Yes.
And appreciate that the level of corruption that we are having in Kenya is affecting all of us. When you don't have that correlation, then you don't see how stealing of drugs in a small dispensary will finally affect your mother when it comes to a hospital in Kisumu. If you don't see how stealing or maybe making cuts on roads when you are doing procurement will affect the quality of roads that you are going to do and the number of roads that we are going to have in the county, then we won't appreciate. All corruption that we're having in Kenya is facilitated by people who are employed, not only elected leaders. And the focus has been on elected leaders only. And they've made people believe that it's only MCAs and MPs who are corrupt. You can never get corrupt if you're not facilitated by those who are employed. I think we need to have a decision amongst ourselves. Everyone, that corruption is affecting us and it should stop. Because if we proceed this way, we'll not have a country.
We will not have the development that
we
want through devolution.
Even on development, we will not have a country.
All right, the country itself won't be there. Chris, just in 1 minute.
I think it's a cancer. It has ruined this country. Sure. And I also think the framework that where we are losing it is that there are good civil servants which are trying to do their best in all circumstances. So one of the things that we miss that we believe that corruption permeates society from education sector, health sector, everywhere. And the institution, that day we did a study, they're saying 65% of the citizens no longer report corruption because they don't trust the institutions. And they realize that this thing happening because whenever you report, even those ethics and the corruption, we realize they are also, they are human beings also. They are protecting others. Or the AODP, a case is investigated, they cannot prosecute. But more importantly, I have interacted with some senior good public servants. I case study of Kisumu.
Yes.
I had a case with public health here.
As we wrap up that
Dr. Willie and his team of public health responded so well. Then I realized that there need to be a reward scheme for good civil servants. And also as we punish the rogues, so that the good one will see the need to do
keep
good.
On being good.
Because if you don't also appreciate them, you lose the good part of it.
They turn the other way around. All right, gentlemen, we see I directed that we are pressed on time, but then as we wrap up this conversation, there has been an issue that has come up recently where there's a call for the relook into the constitution to have a devolution, because it is said that devolution is so expensive for Kenya to fund. Is it time, in your opinion, as we wrap up this conversation, is it time to have what we call probably a constitution looked into, or rather amending the constitution to have the number of counties reduced? As we wrap up this point, I will start with you, TJ.
15 years is not a short time. It's a long time.
Sure.
So probably it may be time to look at what works and what does not work, and discard what is not working, embrace what is working, include, I mean, there are numerous suggestions, especially from the non-state actors, on how, we can make our country better through our written law. But probably what is most important is that the government, now that I talk as a member of the Devolution family, really have to make a decision. Probably the reason why it has not worked the way we envisage is because quite a number of functions that were meant to be devolved are still being held by the national government, and they are not also, allowing resources to flow down, So probably what we need to do first is to fully devolve, let the resources follow the functions, then give it some time and see whether we need to relook at a few issues. But yes, yeah.
Do you agree with the DJ that we need to, it's high time that the Constitution should be amended to relook devolution?
Yeah, 15 years, like you said, is a long time. We have learned our lessons, and we need to find time to relook at the Constitution again. Okay. One aspect of the Constitution that I usually talk about is we talked about responsibility, we talked about rights, but we didn't give responsibilities in the Constitution. That's one of the things that we need to relook at. Okay. But when it comes to the cost of devolution, I don't know what you are comparing it to. Are you comparing it to the older one, the system of governance you are having? Are you comparing it to what? So that we can say it's expensive. Because to me, devolution was the best thing that happened to Kenya that ensures equity in distribution of resources. Okay. I think we can just correct the teething problems that we're having. Okay. But I don't believe that in any comparison it's expensive to any other option that we're having.
Chris, wrap this up for us.
Okay, I agree. We can't take devolution away. While I agree with the former Prime Minister that it's important to look at the issue of regions, that was what's envisaged in the bombers. What is critical now, you can't take away 47 counties. It's going to be a duel. As much as we can only say retain them and have regional assembly, because the challenge that happens is that Mheshimiwa here knows that they are underpaid as MCS. That's a fact. Sure. Because you can't have a speaker, you pay speaker 3 times the people who are elected.
5 times.
Then they become surrogates of the speaker. So to me, I agree we look. And even the role of the deputy governors need to be strengthened.
The Constitution.
And the Constitution, they need to be relooked, but not to the extent that we take away the gains that you've had. We need to look at it to reinforce, because this is the what happened to Kenyan after the sliced bread. And we need to retain it, and we need to make sure that it works. Devolution must work for Kenyans.
Yes. Well, that is where we put a cap on the Western Spectrum with a specific discussion on the devolution this morning on Good Morning Kenya. Very able team that has joined me for this conversation, led by the Deputy Governor of Kisumu, that is Dr. Matthew Sowili, and the Member of County Assembly of Kisumu representing East Seme, and also Chris Owala from the civil society, talking to us about having this discussion with us on devolution. You continue to watch Good Morning Kenya, and right now I'm going to hand you over to my colleague in Nairobi that has the broadcasting house, that is Vivian Degwa, to carry on Good Morning Kenya with the segment of Family Matters. My name is Wycliffe Okech, and thank you for tuning in.
Okay, thank you so very much, Wycliffe, and for that amazing conversation that you were having with the guests. They were talking about devolution and the implementation of it and the hits and the misses 15 years on. Right about now, we change or we shift gears and we get into matters of family check. Today, we are looking at self-evaluation, and to be specific, we are having a look on low self-esteem and how that manifests when it comes comes to romantic relationships and its effects on relationships in general. And joining me for this conversation is one evangelist, Rachel, who is a counselor and therapist. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Vivian, for having me.
It's a pleasure having you on board. We'll also be joined shortly by Joy Kiri, who's a counseling psychologist. She will be joining us within no time now. If we just go ahead and start by first defining what self-esteem is and what low self-esteem is.
All right. Thank you so much, Vivian. As you said, my name is Rachel. I'm known by the name Evangelist Rachel just because of the work I do. I'm a counselor and therapist. And it is good to have such kind of a conversation this morning, especially the times we are in, because these are the seasons that people need to know more about self-esteem. But maybe before we go to self-esteem, I would like us to have a look at self-evaluation, whereby we call it a process of evaluating your own performance, at the same time the actions and capabilities to understand your strengths, to understand your weaknesses, and therefore it is in relationship with what we're talking about today, low self-esteem. In low self-esteem, we can use the simple, let me call it layman's language, and say it is how you feel about yourself, and it is in a position to change. Change based on your performance and the happenings. And therefore, this is a very negative overview about yourself. It's a very negative overview. You feel like you do not live. You're not yourself. You do not understand who exactly you are. Even when people try to tell you that, maybe, let me use you, Vivian, you are this and this. You're like, no, this is not me. Maybe you're referring to someone else. So we can say low self-esteem is a negative overview of oneself, characterized by the lack of confidence, and a feeling of being inadequate or rather unloved, and you feel unworthy. Yes.
So that is generally what low self-esteem is all about. And
you have no confidence about you. You have no confidence about your existing, or rather you are living. You're just, but you are living for the sake of it.
In general, you are doubting your self-worth.
Thank you. That is the word, doubting your self-worth.
Okay. Maybe is it possible for someone who has low self-esteem to know that this is something they're struggling with? Or sometimes someone may not know that they're struggling with self-esteem. And probably just what are the common behaviors of someone who has low self-esteem?
For someone who has low self-esteem, they can understand they have it by the willingness to know. Because number one thing, it is one thing to tell someone you have issues, and it's another thing to have that willing spirit to understand your condition and be ready to change, or rather be ready to be transformed. And one of the things that they can get, or rather they get help, it is through therapies, through the help from professionals. So it is something an individual is in a position to know. And I have told you, it is based on your character and behavior. So we say a behavior can be learned and relearned. You get my point? So whatever you learned to be like you withdrew, you can learn now to just appear. You get my point? So low self-esteem is not that big issue that people cannot change. It is there and can be changed. And when we talk about the behaviors of people with self-esteem, there are so many. So many. Number one behavior is withdraw. You just get out of people. You just get out of those close friends of yours.
They keep to themselves.
You want to. Actually, they say, I need a me time. Not me time because you want to evaluate yourself, or rather to just check on yourself. It is a me time because you feel you do not qualify, or rather you are not supposed to be with people. So the main thing is that they withdraw so fast. Yes. Another thing for people with low self-esteem is that they have a lot of bitterness.
All right, I'll ask you to hold that thought. We'll take a short break and then we'll come back to continue with the behaviors. Don't go too far. We're coming back in a few.
Tunatambulika kwa mandhari yetu ya kuvutia,
tamaduni zetu, ukarimu wetu, vyakula vyetu, uchapakazi,
na pia kwa sauti tofauti za watangazaji wetu waliobobea.
Libengo niko hapa aka upcoming sponsor. Bila shaka hapa ni kama PDG, ma deep state pia vile cartels.
Tunaenzi talanta za pwani, tunakuza talanta za hapa kwetu nyumbani.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tuko mjengoni kama kawa na wanangu wengine wawili.
Usikose kutegea 103.1 Pwani FM, station ambayo itakupa fursa ya kupata uhondo kamili wa pwani na kuleta Wakenya pamoja.
Pwani FM, tafrija ya kipwani.
I never heard a music so sweet. I repeat.
Wagwan, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth way the vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Cold,
and me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa. Hadija ai, money especially ukisonga.
And we are back. Thank you for staying with us. In case you're just joining us, we are looking at effects of low self-esteem and how that manifests when it comes to romantic relationships. Before we took that break, we had already gotten to understand what self-esteem is all about, and we had just gotten to the behaviors or the common behaviors of someone who has low self-esteem. Allow me to introduce Joy Kiri. Welcome to the show. Joy Kiri is a counseling psychologist and she has gotten to join us. So welcome to the program.
Thank you, Vivian.
Okay, I'll hand it back to Rachel.
Yes.
Take us through the common behaviors. We had touched on the withdrawal as one of the behaviors of someone with low self-esteem. So what other behaviors can one, point out?
All right. Maybe I was to add on withdraw, because I was saying that these individuals, sometimes they cease from participating in anything by the feeling that they are never interested in anything. And so you find they are nowhere to be seen in whatever activity that is being done. Number two, maybe we can talk of insecurity and jealousy. Insecurity and jealousy, that is, you start doubting the partner's love and the loyalty, and therefore the trust issues now come up. And when there is insecurity in and jealousy in intimacy or rather in relationship or marriage, you find even that there is no trust issue, and therefore there is no feeling, there is no that the fear of intimacy now comes. So you find you start doubting the moves of your partner, you start questioning, and this is what even sometimes leads to checking on someone's phone, because every call you see that individual had make, you think directly is about an extra marital affair. So insecurity and jealousy is part of the effect of low self-esteem. Yes.
All right. Would you love to add on to onto that? Kimi?
Yeah, I would talk about controlling behavior, where now someone is controlling you. It would look like stalking, I would say, where you see somebody being stalked, or rather someone is calling you to find out what you're doing, how you're doing it, following up with someone else, calling your friends to find out that you're actually at the place you are. So the controlling behavior that comes from that kind of insecurity. But in addition, I'd also talk about wearing masks. People tend to wear masks. Like what they really are is not who they really are. So you find them going through the facade of makeup even. Think about masquerades and makeup. Most people are known differently in different cycles or other circles because they are trying to hide their true selves to other people. Yeah. So of course we have the other part which I would say causing conflict so that they divert attention from themselves to others. So that's also a cause of low self-esteem in people or in relationships.
Okay. Those are the behaviors.
Yes, I have another behavior, and this is increase of infidelity. Yes, because the moment that there is insecurity, one leads to seek attention from others. And therefore you find, like, the moment you find attention from others, maybe they give you a shoulder to lean on. You find an individual tends to fall in love with that individual. So infidelity becomes the order of the day. Yes.
Nice. So now when it comes to low self-esteem, how does it manifest overally? Does it manifest as one becoming overly controlling, or one become overly submissive, or does it depend from person to person?
Yeah, and it's both ways, because when we look at controlling, then we are looking at submissiveness also, because there are those who have to be controlled, where their self-esteem dictates that somebody else has to tell them what to do at all times. So they're overly dependent on others, especially one who has been showing control, which also weighs down on the partner or the person who has been giving the control. Then you find somebody cannot go, let's say, for shopping unless they're with this person. They're not able to pick an outfit, or they cannot leave the house unless they're with this person. And then we now have the other part where the other one always feels that they need to be the one to control this person, that the kind of clothing they have, who they hang out with, any choices they make must be pre-discussed, I must say, discussed before implemented.
So it can appear as both, either overly controlling or overly, submissive.
Sure.
Okay. So can one partner's low self-esteem affect the other's mental health, wellness?
Yes, it can. For example, if someone has just engaged in infidelity, just a case of infidelity, you'll find the other partner, however faithful he or she was, definitely it will affect the mental health, because most of the time, sorry to say but true, some depressions in the marriage and relationships, they are out of infidelity. When you understand your partner has been like sleeping all over, you definitely start accusing yourself, what did I do wrong? Where did I mess up? You start checking on every time what did I do wrong? And therefore you find that even you're thinking, every time you're blaming yourself. Pengine ni mimi nilifanya. Pengine I contributed. And you find without any help of a professional, you end up putting a lot in your mind, which will definitely affect you. So low self-esteem can affect the other partner. Yes.
Okay, I want to invite you, my viewer, to be part of this conversation. You can get to talk to us on our WhatsApp line. The lines are open. That is 0716-103-301. 0716-103-301. Talk to us. Let us understand the effects of low self-esteem in relationships. If it's something you've gotten to experience, give us your experience, and we will sample them right here in our studio. Now, we've talked about the common behaviors, right, of someone who has low self-esteem. And maybe a person who's watching us know that they surely have low self-esteem, you know, they have that self-doubt. How is it possible for one to revert that? Are you able to change it? You know, are you able to turn into becoming someone who's now confident enough, who understands themselves better and believes in their worth? Kiri.
Yeah, I think it is, everything is possible. But what I normally say is you have to start practicing self-acceptance. I think if we sit down and have a place where we sit and chat with ourselves and write down the strengths that we have and the weaknesses that we have, self-acceptance begins a journey of healing in many ways, because the only way you can improve yourself is by accepting, I can't be as tall as so-and-so, so maybe I can start working with my height from where I am and pick up my strengths from where I am. That would be the best way to begin. And secondly would be seeking professional help. You know, when you come in for help, you notice that you have had a kind of thought process, belief system that has been negative, especially about you, depending on what you've gone through and what you've been through. It's always good to seek professional help to help you go positive towards the things that you have. Some people are not even able to tell the last time they were happy. It's a genuine concern for you not to understand that there are so many things about you that could be great that you've taken for granted over time. So it's always good to start from your strengths and checking on your belief system.
Maybe you can add something onto that.
All right, to add on that, it's also good to understand your self-worthiness. The moment you understand that you're valuable, you're good, you're loved, and this will not happen when other people tells you. Yes, they will contribute, but there is that inner you that you start now being very kind to you. And you understand you are the one who is losing it, while others are honestly gaining. So you understand your self-worthiness. And by that time, you start now treating yourself well. Like now you be kind to yourself. For example, if someone comes and tells you that you look like body shaming you, you understand that is his or her own opinion. My opinion is that the way I am, I feel good. So long as the mwili hainiumi, it is my body. You start being kind to yourself. And that you find, as she's saying, the acceptance now start the process. You start the process of healing by understanding your self-worthiness. And the other thing I would like to say is that you start challenging the negative thoughts. Because there are so many things to make us have negative thoughts. You just dress smartly, maybe Vivian, and you're like, I'm feeling it is me today. But unfortunately, somebody from nowhere and tells, hey, no, you look like what? You're like, wait, I did it out of my... This is what I felt. So you need to challenge any negative thought, and especially in the era that we are in of social media, because people are out there to just bring you down from nowhere. You have done nothing to them, but somebody is so jealous and you're like, what did I do? So negative thoughts are contributing so much, and people with low self-esteem should be taken to that process of challenging the negative thought. And maybe to add on this point, now you start engaging into mindful activities. Vivian, we have nature. Do a nature walk. Start engaging in nature activities. Start meditations, and I can as well say spend time in nature and doing those things that are actually appealing to your eyes, to your heart, with no one else. You know, you're like in that, you done the Jago drive or such kind of a stuff. You start go there and just enjoy the way trees are dancing and the birds are singing. And from nowhere you'll find that you start, wait a minute, this has been happening. Now you realize yourself again.
So bottom line is just work on yourself, like intentionally do the work to try and change the fact that, you know, you may be having a low self-esteem. Do the things that make you happy. You know, simple thing like a makeup, you know, we've done our makeup clearly. And, you know, after doing it, you yourselves feel, you know, after even doing your makeup, you feel better. There's a way you just feel, you know, kind of revived and all of that. So it's the smallest of things that can assist you in just even changing the narrative for yourself. Does someone, or does low self-esteem affect how one may receive love?
That's for sure. Because you know there's fear of abandonment, which is part of your low self-esteem. And that can be from history. Maybe you lost your family when they were younger, or you had parents who, maybe you were Irish twins. There's somebody who's just a year older or younger than you, and you never got that love. Or your parents moved, or you were not living with both your parents. So there's fear of abandonment and fear of intimacy that come, and people end up settling in a bad relationship. And that happens a lot because you tell yourself, this is the best I can do anyway. It's too late, you know, I can't do better than this. And that makes you get stuck in a relationship that keeps beating you up, I would say, emotionally. And that happens. And what we say with that is we need to turn back to ourselves and focus on our growth. We need to sit down and stop having the victim mentality where it is only you, only me, I have done, I'm not good enough, I have tried my best, no one can see. So when we look at the victim mentality, and when you challenge that individually and start focusing on your growth, it really helps you see, you know what, I could actually do this, I could start again, I could look at this in a different way, I could stop this for the sake of the next generation, your children or your siblings. Or you could say, I want to start again. You know, I will not be this age for so long. I only have probably 9 months to be in this age. I want to expire what I'm feeling so negative today so that I can begin again, so that my story is different. I'll never have to write chronicles of when I was 21, it was damn and gloom throughout. But I say, you know what, sunlight came when I was 29 and a half or 21 and a half, and I decided to start again. So that aspect of focusing on your growth is so awesome.
Yeah. So just from what you've said, I've picked that, you know, low self-esteem also encourages or has a big role or plays a big role when it comes to tolerating toxic behavior. Maybe if you can touch on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we talk of toxic behaviors, you find you end up suffering for something that you did not even initiate. And it is a high time, even as we look at the low self-esteem, we check on, like I've picked from her, when it comes to those relationships, sometimes we set goals that affect us in our lives. And it is good even to tell our viewers, it is a high time we need to check on the goals that you are setting, because sometimes you plan for something that is too big for you to attain. So it is good, even in this area of relationship and low self-esteem, you check and set the goals that are you can be in a position to realize. For example, if you are 20 years and that a 20-year-old is like a university student, you are 20 and you're planning in the next 5 years you'll be driving a very big machine. In the real sense, not unless you have other ways to have money. The reality is you will not be in a position to realize the goals. And you find in a relationship, you set the bar too high. You just give the conditions to your partner. This is what I want. This is what in the next year I need. I saw Mrs. Flani and Flani having this. I need this. So for us to heal easily in this area of low self-esteem, we need to set goals that we can be in a position to realize. Living as power means. Stop stressing yourself, because I always say there is nowhere the world is going. Life has no haina speedy.
No one is coming out of it alive.
That is it. And honestly, in this, it's like we are not in competition, my dear. We are here to enjoy what God gave us, and honestly, to exercise the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. So the moment you set too high goals, you're like, wait. It's the end of 2025. In January, I had planned I'll change even my whole wardrobe. See what? Right now, you have not even started.
And it's September.
Definitely. You're doing harm to yourself, because now the thoughts will be, wait a minute, imagine. Look at the infidelity part of it. You can do anything to just let people know I said it and it has happened.
It has happened. So set realistic goals for yourself.
Set realistic goals, however small they are. If your goal is from here today, I'll be at Thika and I'll do this with 100 bob. Just do it for the peace of mind and for your mental
Wellness.
Exactly.
All right, let me read some of the messages that are coming in. Remember, you are open to send in your messages. Give us your views on the topic that we are talking about. That is low self-esteem and how that affects specifically relationships. Someone is saying, I'm beautiful, learned, but I'm always shy. What could be the problem? You'll get to answer that. Another one says, our partners, mostly wives, are making us feel useless and very worthless. Ndio maana hatuendi home mapema. Kwanza weekends tukiwa kwa mpira. Tunafanya nini sisi mabwana kwa sababu ground ni kubaya. Na asante KBC Channel 1 kwa kutuletea Chan. That is Martin Kipsiges. Maybe one more before we get to answer. Wazazi wanasababisha hiyo low self-esteem. Kwa vile wanatreat watoto wao vibaya na matusi kila siku. Na kupigana kama wazazi. That is someone who's watching us from Zanzibar. So maybe if you can begin by answering this lovely lady who said she's beautiful, she's learned, but she's still very shy and feels like she's not, very worthy. What could be the issue?
Okay, with shyness as one, just to pick on what that other person has said, sometimes it's upbringing that we tend to think we are different from what, we are not worthy to be among people or to be with people. I would say baby steps, beautiful one. You said you're beautiful and I trust you. As a beautiful one, baby steps. Taking time to appreciate your beauty and know that there are so many strengths you have around you. Social interactions with safe people. I think it's such a way to address low self-esteem. Look for a safe support system. Sometimes our parents and our relatives have bullied us to think we are not good enough, so we become more shy when they tell you, oh, you're too tall. You know the things that we've had growing up, just like that gentleman has said, where you hear nasty things about yourself. But when you meet supportive people who affirm you in your strengths, that will help you with shyness. When you have to be somewhere and there's someone you have to call to encourage you with what you need to do. So you also look for, besides supportive people, some words of affirmation that you set aside every day to tell yourself as you're branching out that this is the day I will look good and I will do this. Practice in the mirror also. People disregard that. Maybe some people stop talking to themselves in the mirror when they were 16. I don't know if you did it. Did you do it?
I did.
Do you know how powerful that is? Talking to yourself in the mirror and saying, I know I am God's child. Yes. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm going to step in and I'm going to do this. Talking to yourself in the mirror.
Manifestation.
Yes. It is true, just the way you said. You might, while you're still in the house, in the comfort of your four walls, no one can see you, and keep telling yourself that as you move.
Okay. Yeah. I want us to speak to this gentleman because he's brought up a conversation where he says most of the times nowadays the wives are instilling that low self-esteem. Like you're normally not someone who struggles with your self-worthiness, but now your wife has beaten you down enough for you to become someone who has low self-esteem.
Vivian, allow me to say this as a wife in the house and a mother. We are living in an era whereby everybody can fix blame to anyone. Wife to the husband and husband to the wife. And the good thing in relationship and marriage is the partners to understand each other. Remember, we married people from different, maybe even tribe or from different culture. And everyone has got personalities and the behaviors. You find you being a sanguine, you married a flag or rather such kind of a stuff. And therefore, my behaviors, the way I behave and the way my husband or rather my partner behaves differs a lot. And this is the reason why you find sometimes men have that got tag that siendi nyumbani ni ground ni moto. Imagine sometimes your ground moto. It is only that individual maybe kuna responsibilities anataka kuondokea. To be sincere. Because I ask myself, the moment you are marrying, both of you, kwani ground haikuwa moto? All right, things change and we understand mambo ubadilika. But at some point you need to check Kwani ni nini ili change? What is this that changed along the way? And now I can say, Siendi, the same girl I was longing to go and see. Now I don't want to go mapema kumuona. What exactly changed? And let me tell you, even to our viewers, for you to make your partner change, it is you to change, not him to change. You get my point? It is me to change for other people around me to change. If he's not willing to come jioni because ni kumoto, I would say, ebu jiulize, what exactly can I do? Maybe just go siku moja and you find the situation the way it is, learn what is happening in the house, and look, maybe you will point some few small things like, the lady has been so busy, the baby maybe is crying, she has been just up and down, and maybe you can help by kuassist kushika mtoto. Because if this lady has been in the house the whole day and you expect the same hug that you used to have when the child was not, it will not happen. So kindly try to change so that you can assist and uelewe what exactly is happening for ground kukua moto.
Like what caused that?
I think even as you're saying that, open communication really works, especially when you're having a problem with self-esteem.
Yes.
When we are having open communication, there's the aspect of saying, you know what, I'm not coming because really when I come here, you're not speaking to me. And because you're not speaking to me, then I'm having a problem with this. Is it possible that today, after I come from football, can you please just allow me to be, you know, to just hang out for a while? So I do think sometimes when there's no open communication, then the wife probably has no idea. And she also doesn't know what to do to make it better. So I also look at social interactions that help, because surely if you don't have social interactions, we will die. It's like having a plant without water. We must have social interactions. So if this guy is going to watch football, there's some aspects of him that he needs, so that when he comes home, he's still himself and he's enjoyed himself. But the aspect of allowing somebody to be, but to communicate themselves, to communicate to others what they are feeling, would really help even in that aspect of, you know, I know he's going for football and he will come late, and because he'll come late, and there's the aspect of before you go, could you do this and this, so that even if you come late, this is we are able to work it out. So I do believe if we open channels of communication, it can really help going forward.
And maybe I can add to the open communication, because in most cases you find some homes people don't communicate, like ile verbally. You're like, it's the non-verbal one. You need a cup of tea and you're like, nikikuangalia, you need to know what I'm saying. I'm saying you get
without saying nothing.
It is not only even for the partner, even for the kids in the house. You find like the way we were brought up. You did not wait for your mother to tell you, Vivian, do this and this. It was that, Mom, niangalie, and I'll do whatever I'm supposed to do. So when we talk of open communication, it is good to understand in this we be kind to our partners. Being kind in the sense that understand that person maybe might be suffering from something for so long, and you've not been in a position to discuss what could have changed that my partner is even behaving in this manner. So open communication, it is there, and it will never at any particular time miss in dealing with the low self-esteem. Yes. There was a question maybe about the parents participating in children's low self-esteem. And you will understand our parenting nowadays is different from the way we were parented. We are having a generation that is, they know their rights, they know their privileges, and they know what to do and what not to do. Funny enough, nowadays you don't tell a child just go and do this. Atakwambia to that is child abuse. Wait until you react the way your parents reacted. And for these parents, we need to understand we are parenting in an era whereby we are not using the corporal punishment. We are parenting with our own mouth. You talk, have a sitting with your kids. Let them understand where you are coming from. Because like the other day I told my son that I have no idea on how to swim. And he was like, Mom, Shosho hakuanga na pesa, You're like, okay, to him, ni pesa hatukuwa nazo za kunipeleka swimming. And I took him to the village, nikamwonyesha that hiyo river, unaona?
You didn't
and
need
it was
money.
like, crocodiles hazikuwa. So we need to understand parents that the generation that you are parenting nowadays, they are people who have the skills, they have understanding, they are just far, far, far much better than the way we were brought up. So parents, wacheni to watch a pressure. Be in good relationship with these dear ones. They are so friendly when you bring them close. Yes.
All right. Let me get to sample more of the messages that are coming in. The number to send in your WhatsApp messages is 0716 103 301. 0716 103 301. You can also let us know what you feel about the topic that we are having today. Someone is saying there could be individuals who are not aware what kind of esteem they have, whether low or high. Sometimes emphasis on high self-esteem blurs the line between pride and high self-esteem. And they're given an example here. Gen Z wakikuja kukusalimia usinitembele. They're saying a simple example is the Gen Z hype. We have highly praised them until they now think their warped thoughts are low. That is what this person is feeling. They're saying sometimes high self-esteem goes way past the line, and it now becomes pride. And they're asking, where do we draw that line between someone who has, they believe in themselves, but also now it has not turned into pride. One more is saying, change starts by changing one life at a time. And what this is what your show is doing. Let us do this together. That is, change starts by changing one life at a time. One last one. The one who said wives are the causes is right. Okay. These days, most couples are not married, but they just exist. And that is why the young generation don't want to tie the knot any longer. Yeah. Marriage is becoming useless. That is Pauline from Kwale. Those are very strong words to use. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe we should start with the Gen Zs and what they've said, high self-esteem.
Yeah, where do we draw the line?
I think self-esteem should come with boundaries, because my freedom ends where your nose begins. And so understanding that this is my circle here, and you see the aspect of having a high esteem. Remember, you have your physical, intellectual, how you communicate with people, at work, in your own relationships, in your family. It's all round, and there are aspects in your life that will be different in every form. So when you look at high self-esteem, it must have boundaries. Everything must have boundaries. If it gets to a point that it has grandiosity, then the higher you go, the higher you fall. So you have the aspect of people imagining that they know more than you do. You know that aspect of when mjuaji, ujuaji. The answer to I'm mjuaji for that reason would be time, because soon the mjuaji will meet someone who knows more than they do.
Pagu anapata paguzi.
I like you. Yeah, you do get that, and when they fall hard. And normally it's learned behavior. You learn that, you know what, even though you thought you're the real OG, if I'm using their words, you're not anymore. There's somebody better. But boundaries are so important. So if we don't set up boundaries, even for marriage, just to touch on it, and maybe you can talk more about it. But when you look at marriage, you entered the marriage with someone. No one from outside is coming to work out your marriage for you. Do you know no one ever, no press button, people believe that after the wedding, then the marriage. No, after the wedding, then the work that is kept towards keeping the marriage. What boundaries do we set up together? And you cannot say she's a problem when you've not talked to her. So you come in late and she's a problem and you've not talked. So what are you working on? So we cannot sit back and say the relationship will work itself out. That's a problem that I see a lot. So you have people who come in and they imagine the wedding, they think the wedding is the marriage. But it's just a function, it's a day, it's a project. So every time you walk up to the wedding, you notice that a couple start fighting, and they fight over all sorts of things. And they're not noticing these small nuances of this is how our life is going to be. Oh, I don't want your mother to say this. I don't want your father to participate in this. But after that, then what happens? It's just a function. So if you don't continue working towards this project called marriage after the wedding, then no one will work it out for you, unfortunately, and that's why it won't work. So marriage is work. Yeah, just like a relationship.
Sure. There's a very strong word that individual had used about marriage.
Pauline said marriage is becoming useless.
Marriage is becoming useless. I want to respond to Pauline that marriage is God-given and marriage works. But as my colleague has said, marriage is work. So you don't have to sit there and say that marriage doesn't jipa. Because I've told you, you have two people from different places, then you are coming to join, and you're like trying to merge your emotions, feelings, all sort of manner of things. You are doing the way of doing things. And therefore, it is a high time the generation that is now understand. Yes, you're brought up in a broken marriage, or rather in a marriage in a chaotic one. Marriage is workable. It's only depend on both of you. Thank you so much, because you said there is no other third party who will come and just enter there and help you out.
Things work,
I am telling you for free. Even if you try to look for professionals, which is true, if things goes bad, it is good to seek for counseling and such kind of. But both of you, it is you who know. Why did we join together? What were our goals? What was our vision? Because the moment you met, definitely you did not just enter into a place and ukasema wacha tuoane. Hata kama ilikuwa ile fast, kuna that period mulienda and you're like, this is what you're looking forward to have. These are the children that we are looking forward. God had to bless now. So marriage, Pauline, is working, and marriage is sweet, and marriage is there. It is God's divine idea and agenda. So if you're feeling that it is becoming she's using the word useless, imagine it is not. Actually, it is one of the most comforting things in this world. Because the moment you go in the evening and you find a very nice home with a lot of peace and your partner is there, imagine stress zako utamwaga hapo. So marriage is not useless, my dear.
I know.
Yes.
I just want to add on to one thing.
Go ahead.
You know, we grew up in, we are, for not mentioning our ages, but we never had a lot of soaps to watch. So some people do think that what happens in a soap continues.
Yes.
So there's the aspect of he will always chase after me. And he chased after you, he got you in his house. Like seriously, he's not chasing after you. The chasing changes. And so the dynamics of marriage changes. And if we keep having it as is in the soaps, then you do find out that most people are comparing what they think another marriage is, or comparing what their fathers and mothers have. But their mothers and fathers, unfortunately, do not share the kind of work they have put in to have such a marriage. So when you see that someone else's is working, why don't you ask, how is yours working? Hence the social interactions. Hanging out with circles of people who you've seen are trying to do it well, and finding out what did you do? How are you able to overcome different problems in their lives? So that would help our dear
Pauline.
All right.
And Winnie.
Okay, as we almost come to a conclusion of the conversation, maybe to the partner of someone who struggles with low self-esteem, what role do they have to play in this?
Number one role, Vivian, I would say it's be kind to your partner. Understand your partner is unwell. Because low self-esteem is not an easy thing. When you understand my partner is struggling, I will be in a position now to help him or her to just walk through the journey of low self-esteem. So be kind. Use the best words that you can use for her or him. Just be there for that individual, even for moral support. Sometimes people don't need even money. They need just moral support. Wake up in the morning and tell me, oh, how was your night? Those small things. Just appreciate that individual and try to bring something to show her things can be good and things are good. Yes.
All right.
I think I like to tell my clients most of the time to keep alarms during the day. An alarm clock that just tells you, send a message and say, I'm thinking about you. an alarm clock that says, I mean, an alarm at 8. How did you get to work today? I think today you left and you look strong, and I know you're doing so well for the family. So some of these things can be messages that you even read in a book, but you're affirming that person in their ways of being a man, for example. Thank you for providing for us, and you didn't have to do it, but you've done us proud. Putting in alarms of Karibu Nyumbani, you know, I know it's been a hard day, but it's just good to have you here. We have other ones that say, you know, I know you don't feel beautiful today, but I really like how you did your hair today, you know. Alarms that help grow the relationships. So sometimes we can forget, we can have a busy day, but setting out these alarms at midday, in the middle of the day, receiving such a text from a loved one, it boosts your self-esteem in many ways, and you're also helping your relationship, and that's the work we are talking about, and it boosts both your relationships because you feel someone is thinking about me positively this morning. Yeah.
I love that way of doing it. You know, set alarms. Just set an alarm to say something to your partner. I believe that would really change a lot. All right, your final remarks, 30 seconds each.
Oh, my final remarks will be to my viewers and to everybody who is watching us today. You have no two lives to live. You have only one life. So kindly be kind to yourself, love yourself, and every morning affirm good things and positive things concerning your life. In the meantime, let's know that low self-esteem is a killer disease. Thank you.
Thank you. Kiri?
Yes. Yeah. Mine is to all of us. Let us wake up in the morning and know that we are special, we are unique. There's no one who has your fingerprints. You're special just as you are, and the world needs you as you are. You may be quiet, you may be noisy. The world needs you as you are. So show up. Show up because we need you. Show up because you're awesome just as you are. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us for this conversation, and thank you for the word that you've put out there. I believe that there is someone who has gotten to listen to you and will work towards, you know, changing their esteem or changing how they feel about themselves, because that is the most important thing. And the other way around, for a partner who has someone in the house, you know, their partner is struggling with low self-esteem, they've also gotten to know how to go about to maneuver it. So thank you so much for your time on the show.
Thank you.
All right, this is where we are ending this particular conversation. I can see Mike is on the other side. Mike, how are you feeling? Have you listened through to our conversation, and what's your take home?
Yeah, I was listening to that very pertinent conversation, and I also think that looking at yourself from a perspective of who you are and appreciating yourself as a person, regardless of the shortcomings that you are. I think that's one of the ways that you can deal with self-esteem, regardless of whether you are in a relationship or you are just relating with other people. So it's a matter of
I understand, Mike, there's an issue with your microphone. So yeah, we'll get to that. Now, just as Mike was saying, it's up to you to decide and work on yourself. It's the most important thing, just working on yourself. That's the best gift you can give yourself. You intentionally working on you and ensuring that you are okay, because as they say, you can never pour from an empty cup. So you need to fill up your cup. Keep filling it up. Keep filling it up. Things come, you know, problems and issues are inevitable as long as you're on this earth. They're inevitable. They will come your way. So they will be taking away from your cup. But work on yourself and ensuring that you're filling it up. Just keep filling that cup, adding on to it in different ways. I mean, our guests today have gotten to give us some tips on how you can get to fill up your cup. It's the simplest of things. Just by you deciding, I'm going to go on a nature walk. You just go slowly by yourself on a nature walk, you know, get to enjoy the air around the area that you're walking, get to look at the trees, them moving, just get to be in touch with yourself. as easy as that. It's not supposed to be something that will cost you money, because sometimes people say self-love is expensive. It does not need to be expensive. Look at ways to go about it whereby it's so easy for you. You know, simple things as you waking up and affirming yourself. We've gotten to hear that from our therapist right here. Just affirm yourself. Look at the mirror. Speak to yourself on the mirror. Talk good things about yourself. Something as easy as that. Someone may wonder, "Ai, sasa nakaa tu hivi naanza kujiongelesha." Imagine, yes. Just do it. Look at yourself in the mirror. Speak to yourself. Speak good things about yourself. Affirm yourself. Things as simple as that. Mike, back to you as we wind up.
Yeah, it's true, as you said. You know, valuing yourself as a person is very important, because you look at yourself from your own perspective, appreciating yourself as a person, regardless of the shortcomings that you have as a person. And now that will help you in knowing how to relate with, whether you're in a relationship or you're just relating with other people in life. I think trusting that you are a person of whatever standard, believe in yourself. That is, I think, one of the best ways to approach matters to do with low self-esteem and raising that confidence to become a better person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
And this is where we put a cap to today's show. Thank you so very much to each and every one of you who has been tuning in. From those of you who started with us early in the wee hours of the morning at 6 until this point in time, we do appreciate you. And remember, we do this each and every weekday morning. Good Morning Kenya is the show to watch. So tell a friend to tell a neighbor that we are always on every morning. Goodbye.